Hello, everybody. How are we doing? How is everybody getting on? It's Friday. Feels like a weirdly long week, and just as we start, we have a guest straight away. How you doing, Tom?
Whoop. All right, mate. How are you?
Very well, very well. How's things? Good day?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. It's Friday. The Oktoberfest beers are in. I'm excited, mate.
Nice one. Nice one. Let me just see if I can dim these lights down a little bit. Yeah, I can. I still get the effect.
Are you going dark and moody today?
Well, I've got a new LED light thing.
And
I've set it to blue. Obviously, the Bavarian flag is white and blue. So that's my kind of thinking. I've kind of seen you've gone the same, Tommy.
I have. I'll be honest, it wasn't intentional. This is my favorite, like, low-key lighting setup on these lights. I use it quite a lot.
I kind of like the white, but that's quite low-key, I think.
Yeah, it's nice. A little bit pinky, but nice.
It is a little bit pinky, but this is very pinky.
That's very pinky.
We'll stick with the blue. Well, what a 10 days really in the world of beer, especially here in the UK.
All of the fest beers have arrived. Or even look.
Oh, look at that! That's quite a nice little glass. That
Oktoberfest glassware is
That's good. I haven't got Oktoberfest glassware, but I do have my classic Hackerschwur glass. That if anyone has seen my Instagram, this is the one that had all the moths in it. That was probably sitting in a dusty old basement in Bavaria for 30 years.
This is good. So we get to drink beer, and then this evening Mark gets tetanus. Excellent.
Yeah, I haven't had a jab in the last 10 years. Probably should do, seeing as I'm a tradesman. But yeah, that could be a risk. Let's get some early comments. Rasco at 10:43 a.m. He commented this, saying, "Sorry, mate, I'll be at the York Beer Festival." Thank you for the comment, mate.
What are you going to do?
Says, "Let's go." Joey says, "Quick pint." 4 hours later. Man, we've already been going a long time. That's kind of how it works. That is kind of how it works. Tom and Stu are in. Happy Friday to the chat. How's everybody doing? We're good, mate. I hope you guys are well. Sharky saying happy Sharktoberfest. Tomorrow night, isn't it, Sharky? I believe you're doing your Sharktoberfest stream. James Elms, how you doing? Afternoon, lads. Good to see you, mate. Have you been in before, James? If you haven't, welcome.
I think I recognise the name, but I'm not sure. Yeah,
I'm kind of. It's not a name I immediately recognise, but if this is your first time, thank you very much for coming in. Mersey Beers, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Sharky, Mark, you need a proper Oktoberfest glass. Get with the program. I know. I did prime this. I did have one of the old glasses.
Oh, the teapot.
Well, the teapot things, but you can't see. You can't see the beer.
No, they're a bit. I find them very cool. I keep nearly buying one. As you know, Mark, and people who follow me on Instagram will know, I ended up back at Tan Hill Inn last weekend.
Yeah.
They sell their own range of ceramic beer mugs and beakers.
Okay.
They're all pretty like that. Not with the lids, but they all look pretty cool. I'm like, oh, I'm tempted. I realise it's absolutely useless for me using on camera.
I know.
Yeah, never mind.
It's just one of those things. What are you on, Tommy?
I am finishing off a nondescript 3 set of beers from the Lidl Oktoberfest beer box, because as anyone who's seen my post earlier will know, I'm reviewing them all in one video. It's going to be
all of them.
It's an effort. Yeah.
Oh, hello.
It's an effort. 10 beers in one video. Well, technically 9, so I've already done one of them. But but I don't want to give anything away. But I'll tell you what, I'll let you know if you're right, if you can guess which this one is, based off the colour and condition of it.
I think it's one of the better ones. It's either the Hofbrau or the. Oh no, is that the weird Marzen? No, there wasn't.
It's a Marzen.
It's not the weird one, because I think the weird one was slightly cloudy, if I remember rightly.
You've deduced quite quickly it's the other one, yeah.
Yeah. Boom. Right. I've got the Spartan Municher Hell, which I remember they released it the same time last year into Aldi, or Aldi released it into the UK, should I say? And I remember it was pretty good. It's not an Oktoberfest beer.
Well, it's part of their Oktoberfest range, but it's not. Yeah, it's not a fest beer, is it? I remember last year being a bit underwhelmed by it.
Yeah, it smells amazing from about a foot away. Obviously, malty and bready, slight honey, caramel. little bit of spice in there, a little bit of sort of grass, stinging nettle. Smells good. Cheers, everybody. Happy Friday.
Cheers. How is it?
Oh, it smells better than it tastes. The taste is a bit
Okay.
It never really gets going for me. It's
Yeah,
very.
I know what you mean.
One thing I will say, it's very easy drinking, and it's far better than like your Fosters. And they're not even in the same league. It's 5.2%, so it's good ABV. But yeah, never. I'll tell you what. Actually, in a weird way, it's probably a good beer for 4.36 on a Friday.
It's probably not a bad shout. I have given that Mersey Beers is in the chat and he is the font of all knowledge. I have a question, and you might know the answer to this. So obviously we know about Marzen beers and that they originated in March and because of the fire thingy and everything else. This is just us. This is also me just prefacing the fact that we know nothing about this stuff before we start talking about it, and everyone will hate us, but it doesn't matter. It's what we're doing. And obviously the Marzen's the traditional beer drank at that time. Are the modern Oktoberfest beers meant to be the same thing but brewed in a shorter period of time, which is why they don't call them a Marzen? Or are the Fest beers meant to be distinctly different?
I think the Fest beers in general are they're richer and slightly higher ABV, because even going back, the original Fest beers were brewed in March. So I think Marzen's actually a style of its own, rather than, I think Marzen's kind of probably like a German ale kind of old beer hybrid, don't you think?
This is what was confusing me, because it was like, oh, it's Marzen because it's brewed in March. Okay, that makes sense, and it's just a strong lager, which it is. But they are, anything that with the Marzen label tends to be darker, and I'm trying to work out, is it just darker because they've actually done it properly and brewed it in March and let it age and it's developed colour, or is it a case of it's now just a distinctly different thing? I would like to know.
Thinking about it, a Marzen, because of the darker colour, and it is especially the cloudier Marzen. If anyone's had the little box, there was it called like Einshof, and it had the green kind of grey-green label with the gold writing on.
1543 or something it was called.
Yeah. I imagine way back when. So the reason the fire ban was in place was because a lot of the towns in Germany were wooden structure. So they probably, they just had a ban on fires during the summer months. So if they're brewing beer in March and then it's fermenting through the summer back in 1750, let's say, they're only really going to be able to produce the beers that ferment at slightly higher temperatures.
Yes.
Could you imagine trying to cool? You imagine sort of back in the day of that technology. I doubt there were many sort of lagers of this type around. I don't know. It's just an assumption I'm making.
Because the cave systems, mate. Cave systems.
Oh, true.
Easy,
yeah.
easily done.
It's kind of. I'm trying to put two and two together.
We've got a couple of answers in. So Mersey has said that Fest beers are essentially a hybrid between a Marzen and a Helles for a better drinkability.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. And then Sharky basically saying it's a darker beer. I was just trying to work out, is the darkness a distinct choice, as in it's the malt that makes it darker, or because obviously traditionally all of this stuff would have been lagered in wood barrels rather than the nice iron stuff we have now. Are the Marzens that colour because of the wooden barrels versus the non-Marzens that have just been fermented in our regular big old steel chambers? But it sounds like they probably do have darker malts. It's quite a discrepancy between some of them.
I'm certain that the beer that they serve at the Paul Anna, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm trying to go back a year ago when I'd done a lot of research for the videos, the Oktoberfest videos that I did. I'm sure that Paul Anna still ferment the beer that's poured at the Oktoberfest, at the Wiesn in their tent. I'm sure those beers are still stored in wooden barrels for a period of their life, and they're tapped. So I think
certainly some of them are. Yeah,
I'm trying to think where they officially go. Is it Lowenbrau? There's basically the mayor of Bavaria or the mayor of Munich goes in. He'll go in at noon tomorrow
He's frozen.
a wooden peg and a massive old mallet, and he'd whack it into the wooden barrel.
Yeah.
Sorry?
You froze then, but we're with you. Carry on.
Yeah. So the mayor turns up, big wooden peg, massive wooden mallet, and he whacks it into a wooden cask, and he says something like "ozaptis," which means like it's open. So if he's whacking it into a wooden barrel,
you're in the room again briefly.
Oh, this is annoying. If he's whacked it into a wooden barrel, then yeah, it does make you wonder.
I'll be honest. I just can't get the vision out of the mayor being caught pegging in a tent. I'll be honest.
Hey, it's Germany. It's probably where it got invented. Let's go back and get some comments because we've got a couple before we jumped. Most this afternoon, yes. Sharky says Sharktoberfest is 8 p.m. British time. It's going to be in it. 8 p.m. British time tomorrow. Joey said the ancient Bavarians invented Oktoberfest and Bavarian cream donuts. Joey sounded exactly like an American there. James says, normally working, mate, I have a rare Friday off, some drinking and watching you boys. Well, here's to you, good friend. There we go.
Cheers, James. Nice to have you with us.
Absolutely. Mersey Beers, in reference to the Marsden, says, was it Hoffenhanner? It could have been.
It's actually,
obviously all these beers.
He spelled it slightly wrong, which is unusual for Mersey. He's normally very accurate. I reckon the pronunciation on this one is Hochenthaner, I think.
Come on, Tom.
That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm going with in my video. That's all
I feel like we had a bit of this in Nottingham when I was up with you about pronunciation. It was quite funny. Me and you both had a couple of episodes of it. Tom and
speaking of,
yeah, Tom, can you please repeat the names of the 10 beers from the Little Box Pal?
You'll have to watch the entire 4-hour epic of those beer reviews to get that one. Can I do a quick plug, please? And it's not a direct plug. I just want answers.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So I put a post up earlier, basically asking people of the 10 beers in that little box review thing, how long do you want the video to be? Because I'm acutely aware that if I leave in all of my normal review stuff, it's like it's infinitely long. It's too long. But I feel like we've got an option that's like 45 minutes plus, an option at like 35 minutes, and then an option at like 25 minutes. And that will be rushed. It'll be rushed at 25 minutes. But I don't know. The thing is, you can. And interestingly, at the minute, the options are kind of split between shortest possible and longest possible. People either want everything or nothing. No one wants the middle one. So can as many of you please go and vote on that as possible so I can have an idea, because I've effectively edited all but the last 3, because I've only just done those, to the longest possible-ish. It's difficult.
I think personally, mate, I think it's a real hot topic, and I think a lot of people are going to want to know, because a lot of people don't live near a Lidl. Like, I don't live personally. I only got those beers because I drove through Thetford last week. So people might want to know. Craig, how you doing, mate? Cheers, Mark, Beard, and chat. Craig, from me to you, mate, friend to friend. I hope you're doing okay. I've seen your Instagram recently and stuff, and yeah, I'm right behind you, mate. I hope you're doing okay, Craig.
I haven't seen your Instagram, but I also hope you're okay. I don't know what else to say.
Thomas G says, cheers. Window beer reviews, Thomas, or window reviews, Thomas. I always call him window beers. I've done that for probably 18 months, and now he's recently changed his name, and it's buzzing my head out.
He's started reviewing windows.
Hello, you amazing and sexy Shark and Joey. Hello, says Sharky. We addressed that from Adam. Cheers, Craig. Cheers, says Craig. Sharky says Marsden is a darker beer than a Fest beer. It's almost got like a kind of old ale-y kind of. Imagine, obviously, if Bavaria is known for lagers, it's like an old. Do you know what I mean? It's probably fermented with maybe a different yeast, and it's kind of got an old vibe to it.
They do tend to be a bit yeastier and a bit funkier.
Yeah, so it's probably. I think if you went all the way back, it's probably going to be one of them earliest beers that still exists today. If you know what I mean.
Could be.
Yeah, fermentation temperature, ease of. I mean, you think if you could brew an ale, you wouldn't have to take it into a Bavarian cave for it to ferment. You could probably let it ferment in your cellar or against, because it would have been old stone floors right against the ground, wouldn't it? Back in Bavaria, back in those days, and it would have been cold rooms, cold houses, even in the summer. Craig says Kevin and Adam. Hey, Sharky says the malt they use makes it darker. Is that a modern brewing technique to get that color into the Marzen or Metzen. Like Tom said, could they have been using normal sort of lager malt Pilsner malts? Probably not Pilsner malts, but lager malts. And then, like Tom says, could that beer have taken or adopted a lot of its color off of the barrel that was stored in? My Sharktoberfest is a Marzen, and I use some darker malt. Yeah, I think that might be. I don't want to say the cheat because I can't be sure, but I'm sure if you went all the way back, there would be probably a modern adaptation of a lager nowadays. And like you say, with stainless steel vessels and stuff, you have to use the darker malts. Adam says both answers are right. If you look at Keller beers, they are cellared, but not that dark. So mainly the malt.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. I wonder how they. Yeah. What is the German phrase? I mucked this up the other day. Keller is obviously cellar. Is that like Keller? Is it like to keep? Is in like beers that are kept?
I suppose it depends what came first. Did the word Keller beer come first, or was the beer Keller first, and then it became the beer that you serve in the beer Keller?
Because Keller beers would mean cellar beers, but then is the word Keller actually? That's like the British or German to British, but then is the German definition of Keller? I feel like it's to keep.
Yeah, but they have.
Do you know what I mean?
There are venues called beer Kellers.
Oh yeah, but they're bloody. That's like what Disney World is to animation.
But it depends which term came first. If the term beer Keller existed first, then it makes sense to call the beer that you serve there Keller beer.
Yeah, but then it could be the other way around. Swapping the two phrases.
We need to know which came first to try and work it out.
A Keller beer is a kept beer. So that a Keller beer is a bottle of beer that's been kept. A beer Keller is someone that keeps beer. Do you know what I mean? Or do you know what I mean? It could be just swapping those two words.
We don't know.
No.
Mersey will tell us in about 12 seconds.
Honestly, he's incredible. His beer knowledge is insane. CJ says slag. I'm talking to slag, CJ. It's quite funny because when I scroll through Instagram and I go, oh, she's quite a nice young lady. And I've said this a few times, and I click on the Instagram profile to have a look at said young lady, normally in America. CJ follows every single one of them. What I probably should do is go on CJ's Instagram.
Oh, you've outed him as a little Insta whore.
Oh, no, fair play to him. He's still got lead in his pencil. You'll have to see it. Sharky says, don't worry. I will butcher the German names tomorrow also. For example, Hackashaw will be announced as Hackaspsycho.
On that point, so apparently the Hackashaw beer, which is definitely pronounced wrong, we got here isn't the same one they serve in their tent. We got their Marzen, and it's not what they take to the tent. That's interesting. Yeah.
And apparently, which seems bonkers to me, because last year, I can't remember the way I rated them. It was either Spartan or Lowenbrow at the bottom. I feel like it was Lowenbrow. Spartan. But then the Lowenbrow is the one that seeked out the most by Germans, which was put in the group chat the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas, to my mind, they'd be tripping over each other, getting into the Hofbrau, Augustina, and Paulaner tents. But then, obviously, you're not on the ground in Germany, and it kind of, like you say, like
I want to say so much about this, but all my reviews aren't out yet. I mean, the Spartan reviews out is trash, relatively speaking. This year,
I thought it was poor.
It's poor. That Hofbrau was surprising, and that's all I'm going to say.
The Hofbrau review's out.
Sorry. I've already had drunk too much German beer, and it's 10 to 5. The other
Augustina?
one. No, the other one. And not
Lowenbrow.
The Lowenbrow was surprising.
Because am I right in saying Lowenbrow are owned by AB InBev and Lowenbrow owns Spartan? I think that's the link.
They're both definitely under AB InBev. I'm not sure if one owns the other or not. But
yeah. Well, that's fair enough. Sharky's helped out with that, saying I voted for all the above for Tom's video. Joey says, according window reviews, Thomas reviews beer windows reviews. It's a bit like that. Good old lad Tom works hard. The funny thing is that yeast infections tend to be funky. Moving on. Sharky says Märzen is usually a higher ABV than the Fest beer. Yeah, I'd imagine that probably links into fermentation time.
That's not the case with a lot. Well, it's not the case with a lot of them that I've seen this year.
No, this is 5.8, whereas the Hofbrau is 6.1, and I'm sure this was around 6 mark. 6.3, the Augustiner.
The Augustiner is 6.2 or 6.3 this year.
Wow.
So maybe, but not from what I've seen this year so far. That's all I can tell you. Yeah, I mean, the Marzen that I just had was 5.6. So no, they're not. From what the ones I've had.
Moses says, well, that's why Kolsch isn't ale. Yeah, because I don't think historically there are many caves in Cologne. No, it is genuinely the flattest part. I've been to Cologne and I've drunk.
Did you smell nice?
Said it a few times. No, it doesn't. It's a bit of the city I found itself. The city itself, if I'm being critical, was, well, to be fair, I won't say we're partly to blame because there was another guy that was probably a lot to blame for the Second World War. But when we went in and bombed it, it's all very new. It's very, very new, and even the buildings that feel old are like new but made to feel old, and it never feels quite right. But I have drunk Kolsch the proper way that they serve it in Cologne, and it's in 250 milliliter glasses. You get 2 bar mats. One has a tally on, so basically you sit down. I should go back to the start. You walk into Cologne, you sit down, and you don't even unless you want food. You don't really speak to the waitress or waiter unless you say thank you, because she comes straight over. It's normally a she. She comes straight over. 250 milliliter glass of Kolsch. It's like if you're drinking in here, you're drinking Kolsch. And then when you get halfway down, they walk around this like 2-tier circular holder with all the 250 milliliter glasses in, and every time you go more than half below in your glass, so you've got less than half your beer left. Very much only 250, so you're probably talking really 2 or 3 mouthfuls, and probably even less than that. And basically straight over your shoulder, they're absolutely bang on it. Another fresh Kolsch, and they tally your bar mat. So you kind of go all the way to the end, and then it's courteous because it's designed to be quick. Because there's a lot of people in there drinking a lot of beer. It's designed to be quick, so it's courteous. If at the end of if you don't want any more beer, say if this was 250 milliliters, you take the beer mat from underneath and then put it on top. And then that says to the waitress or the waiting staff, I'm done. And then what you do, you get up from the table. Obviously, generally, you put the empty glass back on there, and then you pick up your other beer mat that's got all your tally marks on, and you go to a till like a canteen, and they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 times €2.50, and that's what you pay. So it's fantastic in the sense that you've always got fresh beer. One of my biggest gripes in Germany, and I never order Steins when I go to Munich or Bavaria, is because you get halfway through and it's flat and it's heavy. And do you know what I mean, Tom? It loses its spritz. That gives it that.
I've not had the joy of drinking in Germany ever, sadly. But I've done a lot of reading up and watching native German videos on Oktoberfest and stuff this year, just to try and not be entirely uneducated on the matter. And one thing they said was the reason they do it in big 1 liter steins is firstly because obviously it's so busy that you're trying to limit the number of trips per table, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But also the fact that those steins are so big and heavy, they're theoretically insulated by the glass that's in them. When they said that, I was suspicious. Because whilst glass is an insulator, it's not known for being the best insulator, especially when it's, if they said, oh, it's a triple walled glass thing, I'd be like, okay, yeah, fine. But it's not, it's just glass.
But I suppose if you're talking about mass and the percentage of, if you were to take that 250 milliliter, it's pretty much like that shape. The percentage of the beer that's against the warmer glass or the warmer environment is going to be much less in a stein due to its mass compared to the 250 milliliter.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how long it keeps its temperature for.
It sounds like they've done something from themselves and gone, actually, these thick glasses keep your beer cooler. Kev says, did the egg come before Keller? To be fair, mate, Germans been at it for so long, probably the Keller was before the egg.
It's true.
Sorry, Tom.
I was just agreeing. I didn't say anything. Carry on.
Cool. Mersey says, yeah, it's like a keep. Yes, that's what a cellar is. It's a storage room. It's like a chicken and egg scenario. Yeah. John, how you doing, mate? Hello, you big old hairy faced love gerbils. The understated entrance that John always does tend to make. Kev says hello to John. Mersey says Mark needs to review some slag pills. I've gone to them days, mate. I'm married with a kid now. I used to review those pills quite on the regular. John says,
is that what they're calling? I can't remember. Oh, that would have been interesting if I remembered the name. The little blue pills, Viagra. Is that what they're calling Viagra these days?
I suppose if we've got Slager, then we've got slug pills, slag pills.
Less interesting. Go on.
Kev says, Lords, hardly working, yet working hard on my life tomorrow. Adam says, as we discussed last night on Rob's stream, all the kids drink the Augustina. Yeah, because it's the strongest one. I've done a beer fest once. The first beer fest I ever organised in my town in Norfolk. The beer that sold out first, it was annoying because it was the best quality beer that we had. For me, it was the best quality beer that we had. It was 6.7%. So all the kids are knocking back the Grain Brewery. Yeah, Grain Brewery, Lignum Vitae. Have a look at the malt and hop bill on that beer.
I thought you meant the Augustina was 6.7. I thought that's come down.
No, 6.3 there, fest beer in it. So all the kids are on that getting absolutely written off. Fair play to them as well. I'm just jealous.
The Paulana is only a point below, isn't it? Or
I thought Paulana was 6.1.
Maybe it's the Hofbrau's point below.
Oh, 6. Yeah, Paulana is 6.
Oh no, Hofbrau's 6.2.
6.3. Hofbrau's 6.3 as well. Well, last year's one was.
Yeah, I'm just checking. Yeah, you're right. I've got terrible memory. Crack off.
Well, it's been a bit of a whirlwind in October for the Oktoberfest beers this past week.
I've drunk a lot of Oktoberfest beers since that first Hofbrau review.
Luke, John, how you doing, mate? I haven't seen you in a long time. Hope you're well. I saw on your Instagram you were doing a lot of trips, or was it your YouTube? You were sort of mapping out a trip. How's that going, mate?
Yeah, he's planning his grand tour, isn't he?
Yeah, it looks absolutely mega. You've got to get your camera out, Luke. I'd love to watch that, mate. I really would. I think Europe is a fantastic continent for traveling. Johnson Sharky, that would be fantastic. About the live, yeah, absolutely, it will be. I'll be tuning in. Il Corvo, Spartan is owned by Lowenbrow, yeah, which ABV InBev have some interest. Not sure what's up their head. Whip, how you doing, my friend? My local has a Vienna lager in the works for October. Often a delicious style. I love Vienna malt. I love Vienna malt. Slightly darker beer, super rich.
Good. I'm with you. It's so good. Vienna malt, Vienna lager, and Vienna biscuits, all some of my favourite things. I can't. There's something happens in that part of the world that is a little bit magical.
Yeah, it's But Grain Brewery, one of my local breweries, they used to do a single malt, smash beers, single malt, single hop, and they had a Vienna Wolf, and Wolf was the hop. Now I wish I had my Charles Farron thing, but it was basically like eating sweet orange. It was like basically like drinking the best sweet orange biscuits. That's the best way I could describe it. It was just like really Moorish. It was fantastic. John says, I checked all those beers from Lidl. Turns out they're all brewed in the UK, Stoke-on-Trent. I know you're lying.
I'm here now, like, hold on a minute. Is this for real? I don't think so, Jonathan. I don't think so.
Talking on, well, I was going to call it plagiarism, I suppose. Talking of plagiarism, how the hell have Brewdog got away with calling their 4.2% lager an Oktoberfest beer?
Yeah, so I did some research on this.
Have you got a video coming out about it?
No, I'm not. No, I've got so many videos ongoing at this point that I can't log another one in before it's just not relevant anymore. We'll talk about it now, though. So,
yeah, let's do it.
As best as I can understand it, when we left the European Union, we adopted all of their what do you call it? The names of geographical significance. Yeah. Whatever it is. So you can't call Wensleydale cheese if it's not from Wensleydale.
Yeah.
You can't call a Bordeaux wine if it came from Lille. You can't. You know what I mean? It's you know, all those things. And
Important.
Oktoberfest is one of those terms. So apparently, when we left the European Union, part of the agreement was we would honour all of the existing terms to that point, but we're not bound by future terms.
Right.
So so I read that as we still need to abide by that Oktoberfest rule.
That's exactly why I was pausing.
Yeah. So unless the term is Oktoberfest beer and they've just said Oktoberfest shitty 4.3 pills. Sorry for swearing on your stream, but it makes me very angry.
I'm sorry. It just seems, but the biggest thing for me is you've got breweries such as Weisstefana, Eyinger, Erdinger that produce some really good fest beers, and they have to call them fest beers for that exact reason, Tom, like you're talking about. And I imagine, obviously, the German law's tighter if you're a German brewery in Germany and the rest of it, but it just seems bonkers that they can't brew an Oktoberfest or what they call an Oktoberfest beer, yet some brewery in Scotland can. It just seems absolutely bonkers.
Well, I don't think they can, from what I've read today. They have, but interesting.
You're never too far away from a brew dog.
Yeah,
a bit of ambiguity. Do you know what I mean?
It's tedious, isn't it? Also, can we just also ignore the fact that they might have used a term that they're not allowed to use, and that is annoying. The fact that they had the audacity to then make something that was a 4.3% Pilsner.
If they serve that in Germany, they'd have their tent burnt down. It is as simple as that. Sharky says, Luke John, you finally left the Travern. Luke John says, hey John, been better, not going to lie, but in a much better position now than I was 4 months ago. Good to hear it, Luke. John from Lord says lots of legends in tonight. Mersey Beers, Il Corvo, Whip 8, Thomas. I know it's like we got the old gang back together. It's brilliant. Mersey Beer says Colne has no excuse. Liverpool was bombed to crap in World War II, and we kept our buildings up so much that we double for historical New York and London in film. Oh, do you? Liverpool is just Liverpool when I was growing up. So you're probably talking like late 90s, early 2000s. I think it was just at the end of when Liverpool was. I think Liverpool in the 80s and early 90s and the 70s was maybe not, because all the northern towns and cities struggled at that time. And I just remember growing up, and this is going to sound, I'm being totally honest, I don't believe this now. Liverpool's one of my favourite cities in the UK. I grew up with that thing of Liverpool being a bit of a dump, a deprived area full of unruly people doing unruly things. And that's the way I was. I was a Kent boy. I was a Southern boy. Like, and we were just protected by London. We had nothing to worry about in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you'd been any further south, you'd been eating baguettes. So
it's true. Yeah, it was actually quite funny because if you drove down to Dover, sometimes your radio station back in the days when you used to tune into FM, you'd be listening to like I don't know what was back in there, like Usher or something, and then all of a sudden you'd hear, and you'd have to like tune your radio back a little bit or forward just to get the English one because it used to confuse on the thing.
That's funny.
But yeah, Liverpool, what a place! And you're absolutely right. You know, I think they just really badly designed Cologne. It was almost, and I believe obviously Cologne was definitely in Western Germany, but it was almost like it was designed by Eastern Germany. It just felt very, I don't know. Not good. Luke John says, I was the last one in the Travern chat, Sharky. Talking myself as a regular daily occurrence. John says, that's really good to hear, Luke John. Absolutely. Whip 8 says, hi, all. Been a long time. Amazing how life tends to take over. Yes.
Whip 8.
It's good to see you back, mate.
Yeah, I've not seen that name for a long time. How you doing, mate? You good?
What, like 9 months or something? I remember you, Whip 8, when I first started live streaming on YouTube. Yeah. One of the OG names.
Good name. Whip 8. I like it.
Very rememberable. Very
rememberable.
Wait till I get on the 6%ers.
Right. Apparently, I've drank too much German beer already for this time on a Friday, so I'm going for a pee.
That's cool. I'll rattle through some comments. Luke Johnson says, I've got all 6 Oktoberfest beers for tomorrow night, Sharky. Yeah. I went to... last weekend, I went up to Bradford to deliver a workshop on, something. And... I drove so I met a friend in Kings Lynn, and from where I drove to get to Kings Lynn from where I drive, because he lives in North Norfolk, so we come across and went up. So I had to meet him in Kings Lynn. I drove right by Beers of Europe, but the actual sort of beer superstore was shut. I'd have gone in there because I don't know if they would have had the Augustiner, but they certainly would have had the other big five. Sharky said, we're the 1 litre. We're the 1 litre stars made of ceramic. No, mate, glass. Glass, sort of generic Steins, really. He says, look, John Frost, awesome. I can't get the Augustiner. Yeah, everybody, if they release it. Yeah, they've probably released it about the same time. Maybe it was later. I feel like Oktoberfest was in full swing by the time UK distributors and bottle shops and places got hold of the Augustiner. I feel like people were a bit Oktoberfested out by that time. Luke John Frost says, you're not missing out on much, Sharky. Yeah, I was a bit like that. The Augustine was just a bit disappointing for me last year. And I love Augustine. I'm literally speaking to Tom about this on the phone earlier. I don't know if there's a better, more drinkable, more sessionable lager than the Oktoberfest lager beer hell, they call it. So naturally, when you think everything's normally amped up, you kind of think the Augustiner would have been way up there, and it just wasn't last year. It was like average. Really, really average last year.
Yeah, I don't want to give too much away. This year is, if it's not prohibitively expensive and you're doing an order anyway, I would buy it. I wouldn't spend postage on just getting that beer. That's what I can tell you.
No, I'd have been gutted. I actually picked it up when I was at the York Beer Festival with John. We went into York after, and it was on the shelf in Trembling Madness. In the Trembling Madness bottle shops, I bought it. But yeah, I'd have been disappointed, Tom, actually, if I'd have spent that extra £4 on postage or whatever, however much it worked out to be. Sharky says, look, John, I have 4+ Sharktoberfest. Luke John says, your own brand may be the best of the bunch, Sharky. It's kind of true. Like I genuinely think 2 of the best fest beers are from Ainga and Weistefana. Like Ainga's Festmarsen is insane, and then Weistefana's fest beer is just
how good is this year's Paulana though?
It's good. I still love that like hoppy complexity of the Hofbrau. I think the Hofbrau's got more mouthfeel. It feels a bit more like
how many Hofbraus have you got?
1. And it was out of the little box.
Right. Okay. So we need a little bit of I think this is a good thing for chat, actually. So I've drank 2 of the Hofbraus so far. They were basically different beers.
That's mental.
Right. Obviously, there's a few core bits that you're like, oh, yeah, that's the same. But they were of wildly different quality. And I spoke to some people in the comments on my videos and stuff who had also had it and said, because I gave it a little, not a berating, but just said, it's really not where I thought it was going to be. It was just too bitter. Like it was way too bitter for the balance. And a few people said, I'm really glad you said that because I tried mine and I just like regretted buying it. Like it was awful. Mine wasn't awful, but what I'm getting from this is, and then I had one that was really well balanced. I'm like, the inconsistency is rife in that beer.
That's mad. Like the thing is, I think the Paulaner, probably one of my criticisms of the Paulaner, it doesn't have that like bitterness at the end because I do find it quite sweet. But the problem with the Hofbrau is it is bitter and it definitely is. But I suppose if the bottle that you tried didn't have that sweetness, then it becomes very unbalanced very quickly because it's all about the bitterness and the spikes. It's very complex, the Hofbrau, isn't it? It's very complex. And then if it ends with...
The quality is that. It's a funny one because the quality screams. Like, you can tell... If we were just going on how good is this beer, not as in your personal preference, but like what's the quality of the makeup, like it's on a par with the Paulaner or probably ahead of it.
Yeah.
But interestingly, as is the Augustiner.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't right for some reason. Like, it's funny.
It's funny because I don't want people, well, certainly from my perspective, I don't want people watching us talk about this, or certainly me talk about it. I won't speak for you, Tom, but I don't want people thinking that I'm talking about this saying that these are bad beers. Like,
they're all amazing. Don't get me wrong.
Honestly, like if you was to stick at any of these, even the Spartan, which is by Oktoberfest standards pretty pants, if you were to stick that in any generic bar, it's gonna be the best lager in there unless they've got another one of the others on there. Yeah. So we're really, and I think it's important because we're really like drilling down. Like I think I am. I won't talk for you again, but I'm really drilling down into the quality and trying to find faults, because these beers genuinely are fantastic. Normally, the faults show themselves. If you try a beer on, the faults show themselves quite quickly, but you really have to drill down into the quality. I don't know all the detail, Tom. I don't know how you felt doing the Oktoberfest beers.
I tried to make it clear in every one of my videos that I've reviewed at the Big Six, and I've tried to make it very clear that when I'm berating these beers, if it was a normal beer review, I would have given it. I mean, I don't rate my beers normally. I have done with the Oktoberfest ones because I feel like it's important to because they are all direct competitors.
Yeah.
Very rarely do we get direct competitor beer on beer. So, and in those instances, I'll say whether it's better or worse than the competitor. But this is a very unique situation where you've got 6 beers that are all genuinely vibing with the next person.
Yeah.
So I'm rating it, but I'm doing it harshly. I'm looking for any minor flaw.
But you have to, because the beers are that good.
Because otherwise, and I said it a few times, otherwise you'd watch 6 videos and I'd go 10 out of 10 every time.
It's kind of what I did last year. I don't think there was a beer that got less than a 7 last year, because I just couldn't believe I hadn't ever tried lager of that quality. I'd had like good Pilsners and good British brewed stuff that I'd had, but in terms of buying 6 beers from different brands, I definitely got carried away. 100%. Like, being totally honest, I did. And it'd be interesting if I was to drink those exact beers again and review them now, where I'm not getting carried away. But I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting, but the beers are generally very good.
Yeah, I was quite pleased that last year I drank most of them but didn't review them, because it puts you in a slightly less excitable position to critique, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
A few of them I had before last year as well, but the last year was, I think I did 4 of 6 last year. So only 2 of them were new this time around. But yeah, it's a tough battle, but they're all fantastic. So go and buy all of them because they're fantastic. That's all I can say.
I genuinely think, I think we've been spoiled this year in the UK. There hasn't been that long a wait to the Augustina compared to when the others were released. That was the big blot on last year for me, because everyone was sitting there going, when's it going to come out? What the hell is going on? Everyone was waiting for the Augustina. In addition to that, we've got obviously the Lidl box, and that's a whole other conversation itself, from the comments and the interaction that the YouTube videos have got. Then on top of that, we've got Aldi just ploughing in £2 bottles of Paulaner Oktoberfest, which is widely considered one of the best ones.
£1.99. They've undercut Majestic wines by a penny, and you can buy them by the bottle, whereas you have to buy 20 at Majestic.
It's just bonkers. Like, we are so spoiled, and I think for the consumer, I don't know about you, Tom. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts, but I think the grassroots, like the high quality grassroots area for beer in the UK, it's been a bit of a rubbish place for the best part of a year now.
Yeah, I mean, a year. I might be pressed to say a year. It felt like
9 months.
Had a lot of decent. I feel like the run up to Christmas last year was pretty good. I feel like we had some decent stuff, and then naturally in January and February, a lot of breweries just focus on core because everyone's saving, everyone's paying off Christmas and all that stuff, which makes sense. And then we got to March. There was the March and April. There was a few bits of interest.
It dripped in, didn't it?
It wasn't terrible. And then when you hit May and you're expecting that big summer boom, nothing. Like, it's really not like. Yeah, I've been very just uninterested in anything new on the shelves for the best part of 6 months now. Yeah. I think I'm with you. Maybe a year was too long. Maybe certainly 6 to 9 months is probably about right. I mean, when did the Guinness, was the Black Heart came out around March time? So Guinness Surger and then the Black Heart followed about a month later. That must have been March, yeah.
There was a bit of a drop around that time as well, wasn't there, into Tesco's? But Morrison's has been genuinely... Morrison's probably the worst for it. Asda have been bang on it, as have Sainsbury's, in terms of getting the old out and getting the new in. Sainsbury's, not so much quality. Asda, randomly, I think it's one of the better places to get your beer now. It's mental.
Is Morrison's disappointing because historically they were always the best?
Well, they just have stopped.
Yeah, there's been no drop.
No, I mean Tesco's has done more than Morrison's, and Morrison's for me
Tesco's always did more in terms of different beer, as in more different beers, but the quality usually was very hit and miss. Whereas Morrison's had a pretty good hit rate on decent stuff.
I think you got a point there, mate. Yeah,
I can't think of a new. Well, I'm sure there's the odd singular new beer, but I can't think of anything really interesting going into Morrison's since. I'm struggling now. Like I can't pick out anything from this year, really.
I think it's the thick end of 12 months for Morrison's. So it's great as a consumer that we actually have this now. We got, believe it, of all the supermarkets, it's Lidl and Aldi. It's quite incredible. Obviously, there's a few things that line up because they're continental, they're German and whatever, but it's still brilliant. Yeah. Luke John says, planning 3 European trips next year to make up on lost time. My life expectancy has gone from 3 years to 25. Oh my God. I did not know that. So 1 year of battling has been worth it. Luke, fair flipping play, mate. Wow.
That's a turnaround for the books.
I did not know that. Fair play to you. Adam says, sorry to disagree with Il Corvo, but Spartan sold Lowenbrow back to Interbrew, who are still a subsidiary of AB InBev. Spartan is partly owned by AB InBev. Yeah, I think it's, God knows, it's all sort of... Yeah, sorry, my comments were funny. It's all this way and that way, isn't it? I think there's a few ties between a few of the Oktoberfest breweries. Yeah. John says, from Lord says, Wolf hops in our Malamute beer from Slovenia. Yeah, is it Wolf, Dana and... No, it's not Dana and Bobek in Malamute, is it?
Are you still brewing Malamute, John? I've not seen it for ages.
What beers are you brewing, John? We probably need an update because we haven't spoken about it for a little while. John says, I was hoping to set you off that it was brewed in Stoke.
Madrid here.
Yeah, absolutely. Cruz Campo as well. That's another one that's just gone in. That seems to be the latest thing that's doing the rounds. Joey says, I once pet a stray dog in Lagos, but I think you mean, is it Lagos or Laos in Portugal? Can't remember. Kevin Parton. Good evening, lads. Good evening to you, good sir. How you doing?
Okay.
Thanks for coming in. Adam says, like American, Brewdog do not care whether or not they're supposed to call it festival. I know they just.
Yeah, I think legally they might have to. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
I think this might come back to bite them. Luke John says, so who has been creating drama on YouTube this week?
The Royal Shakespeare Society?
Yeah. It seems to be the all the conspiracy theorists. Jimmy C, how you doing, mate? How's Finland? Probably cold. It's probably getting a bit nippy now up there, isn't it?
It'd be lovely. I'd love to be there now. We're getting chilly. Very good.
I'd like that. I like the idea of Finland. Never been. Adam says Mark is correct about Liverpool in the 80s and 90s. Was treated so badly by Tory government that it led to riots, toxic riots, and strikes. That it was as good as it is now. However, Tories, this was peddled. I have to say, Liverpool now, incredible city, incredible culture. Quality of life, architecture, the people are just amazing. Like, yeah, Southerners could take a little bit of a look from the northern cities, especially Liverpool. Adam says the stereotype and things are going on a familiar direction now. I think you're shaking it off, mate. I really do. Luke John says got mine from beer merchants, pricey, but have to pay to get the OG beers. Yeah, what are they, Tom? From places like, were they what $3.50 a bottle?
I got my Augustina from beer merchants. Let me have a quick delve into my emails, and I'll tell you. They were, funny enough, that was the last thing I searched on my phone. No, it doesn't give me item prices. I bought 3 for £13.20, so it's quite pricey.
Oh yeah,
£4. That's £4 on the beer.
Is that including postage?
So I bought enough not to pay postage. So I didn't just buy the 3. I splashed out on a few other bits because they had a few things in from Tegernsee, which is my favourite German lager bar none.
I have the Tegernsee Dunkel Export sitting there.
I
Got it for about £2.90 in Beers of Europe.
I got a couple of bottles of their Helles, which is just incredible. The reason I got really excited about that was they had it on tap in the Kilpin in Nottingham 2 weeks ago, and I had one. I was like, I've got to get some more of this. It's so good.
Oh, mate.
And I've also got a bottle of their Special.
Special?
I don't know how good that's going to be, but it'll be good. Got a few other things, some Schenker, some other Hacker Shaw, because I've not had a lot from them, and I was a bit so-so on their Oktoberfest beer, so I thought I'd like to find out what the rest of it's like.
They do. Hacker Shaw do. Is it? Oh, it's in like a midnight can wrap. The top of the can or the bottle wrap is like a nighttime. It's called like Weissbier Spezialitat or something. It's basically like a special Weiss beer.
Okay, I got their Munich Keller beer and their Munich Gold can, which interestingly are exactly the same ABV. So I'll be interested to see how different those two are.
That's a video in itself.
I also bought 3 glasses, including this one, the Oktoberfest one.
That's a sexy glass.
Nice, isn't it? It's not bad. It's not bad.
Where was that from, mate?
That's Beer Merchants.
Beer Merchants. There we go. Anyone wants to check that out? Luke Johnson says, I've emailed Paul Arner to ask for the information why the Oktoberfest beers, can and bottle, have different ABVs. Let me know what the result of that is, because I'll be really interested.
Yeah, that's I've not had any cans. That's interesting. No. Although I will say the bottles sold individually are different bottles to the ones in the Majestic Wine bulk buy. As in the shape of the bottle is different.
Because Paul and I do the stubby neck ones, don't they?
Yes.
Whereas
the ones in the Majestic Wine are stubby necks, and the ones I bought individually for the whole review were long necks.
Yeah, slightly. I mean, looking at I'm looking over here. I've got the Tusha.
I mean, I can show you. I've got them both behind me. Hold on.
Yeah, it's definitely taller than the short neck. Definitely taller than the short neck. Whip 8 says beer changes life, but 8 and 10-year-olds take a lot of keeping up with. Yeah, mate, I've got a little girl that's about to be a 2-year-old, and she runs rings around me. Look at that. That's quite a difference, you know.
It's only like a centimetre and a half or something, but
they're going to be the same ABV though, aren't they, if they're bottled?
These are 6% on the nose, these.
You know what?
So interestingly, the stubby ones that were from Majestic Wine have got the Paulaner embossed name on the bottle neck. Meanwhile, the ones that came singularly don't, but they have the top label. So not sure why they're different.
Does the longer neck? I've got a theory here. And
I think you're going to be right.
Does the shorter necked bottle have Paulaner inscripted on it?
The shorter one does, yeah.
Sorry, the longer neck bottle.
No, it doesn't.
I think there's a reason for this. I think their deposit return scheme, because Germany do run a deposit return scheme, the Schlenkerler doesn't have any signs of the rubbing that you get around the base of the neck. The Tegernse does. It's very light, but it does. And they're the same shaped bottle. Exactly the same. All the bevels and details are in the right place.
Okay.
Like there's a little rib there. They're exactly the same bottle. And both bottles are exactly the same as this very worn Tusha Doppelbock Dunkel.
So the long neck, there's a few differences I've just spotted. The long neck is definitely a German market beer because the website address on the long neck is paulaner.de and on the short neck it's .com. And interestingly,
hold on, the short neck is .com or the long neck is .com?
The short neck is .com. The long neck is the German one.
So I've got a slightly longer neck on the Paulaner and I've got .com at the bottom.
I don't think that's a longer. I think that one you've got there is the same as my short neck.
Okay. So my theory's buggered because this short neck Paulaner. Well, hold on a minute. Does your short neck have Paulaner? Oh, sorry, guys. Does your short neck Paulaner have it on the glass?
Yes.
my theory's buggered then.
So interestingly as well, they have different barcodes, and the best before on the long neck is April
Shorter?
next year. The best before on the short neck, which is the UK or global one, is August next year. So maybe they are slightly different.
You've got a video in your hands there, mate. But it'd be really interesting. I'll bloody watch that.
What's the difference between a short neck and a long neck, short and long neck pull on? I'm not.
One's obviously
German.
German.
We'll let the chat decide on whether that's interesting or not, because we've talked enough about it, man.
I think there's a lot of chat though, isn't there? There's a lot of chat, especially with a lot of the continental brewers or the continental brands putting some beers into places like Burton and Tadcaster. Actually, what do you get? Because some people come back off holiday, thinking they're going to drink amazing beer. They buy it in England, it's rubbish. Jimmy C says, great beers, but consistently inconsistent. And he follows that up, say that after a few Augustinas. I've had 2 Spartans, I'm on the edge, mate. Luke John says, Jimmy C, he's laughing. Liam93, how you doing, my man? Best beer to have coming home from work on a warm day like today, ? Francis Carner, Erding Oktoberfest, Weiss, or Paul Anna Oktoberfest? For me, Paul Anna Oktoberfest. I don't.
Not the Francis Carner for sure.
No, too rich.
I've not had the Erding at Oktoberfest yet, but in about 10 minutes' time, I will have. So I'll let you know then.
I just think that Paul Anna's lovely. Nice.
It's really nice. It's really good.
It's really good. We are splitting hairs when we talk about these beers. Luke Johnson says, I find that the lager German breweries have small brewer issues, if that makes sense. The larger lager. Listen to me. I'm absolutely done, and I've had 2 beers. But I find that the larger German breweries have small brewer issues, if that makes sense.
I'm seeing a bit of that in everything I've reviewed so far, Oktoberfest wise. I'm seeing some, it's a really funny one because so many of them are incredible. Like, in fact, they're almost all. I've literally reviewed one where I've said I'd rather drink something mass-produced made in Burton-on-Trent.
Yeah.
There's only one out of, what was that, 15? Yeah, 15 different Oktoberfest themed beers. But at the same time, there are some little quirks that you just don't expect out of a massive brewery. So, yeah, it's interesting. But maybe that means they're keeping it real. Maybe they're not sanitizing, not literally in the not cleaning sense, as in maybe
they don't clean their brew kit.
They're not cleaning the brew kit. No, you know what I mean. Maybe they're not overly. Maybe they're not changing their processes and recipes to adapt to a modern world, and they're keeping it so that it's like in its original form, more so. Possibly.
They're brewing rather than churning.
Yeah,
they're brewing hands on.
Interesting.
I found that a couple of the you said larger German breweries. I did find that a couple of it was 2 in particular that of the little box that had that kind of like ominous butterscotchy thing.
That's interesting. So I only had one. Which were your 2?
I thought the Erlbacher definitely had it. That was too sweet. That was way too sweet. That was sweeter than sweet. Do you know what I mean? It was almost like
interesting. We've talked about this before. I quite like mine, and it was sweet, and I know that my palate is more inclined towards liking malt heavy than hop heavy beers.
Yeah.
We all know. Anyone who's watched any of my videos will know that. But it wasn't murderously sweet. It wasn't perfect either, but it wasn't. I didn't find it murderously sweet. Okay, in which case I know which one your other one was. I can't remember what it's called now, but
yeah. I say go on, like I can remember the names of them. They just had the most generic names. But I think the little box, there was value in it. I think there's certainly from the curating perspective and having that amount of beer, especially 7 or 8 that you could really struggle to get, put in your hand for 25 quid. I do understand. But I think, like my video said last night, certainly Aldi drop in Paul Anna Oktoberfest at £2. You have to commit to buying 10. Do you know what I mean? And the Sparta Munich Hell is lovely, and this is a better beer than a lot of those beers in that box for £1.99 a bottle?
I don't. A lot. Yeah, probably just about. I'm not going to give too much away because it's a conclusion to a video. But yes, that's all I'm gonna say.
Interesting though. But I want to just make this clear. And I know Tom's had a lot of comments about this, and I've had a lot of comments about this. And like I said, I can't talk for Tom. But I'm not saying these beers are bad. We are spoiled. It is very much a 21st century problem. You know, it's just ridiculous. If one of these beers was on the Tesco shelf, everyone would be absolutely dropping their cags at it. But we've just been spoiled. We really, really have. 111, how you doing, my mate? Thank you for your comment the other day. A lot of the comments that you get on YouTube are all like, oh, everything's brilliant and lovely. But it was really good to hear your perspective on the video last night. Well, he says he thinks, and I absolutely have to agree with this, that in terms of the best supermarkets for beer are Asda, number one, craft beer. I think Sainsbury's might pip Asda because they do a few different German bits, but Asda, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, Tesco's in that order for me. You know what? For craft beer specifically, yes. I think Sainsbury's selling the Weissstefano. Is it the Hell? The Helles? The Weissstefano Helles for like £2.80 a bottle.
Hold on, you can get Weissstefano in your Sainsbury's.
Yes, and that's in Norwich.
What? So I've complained about this a few times before.
Tell you what, it's not the Hell. It's the It's the Weiss beer.
Okay.
Even then,
yes, they do. You know, I have had that one out of Sainsbury's.
But then the question does have to be asked. Is the Weissstefano nearly 50% more in terms of quality? Because if you're going to look at prices, Franciscana at the moment is £1.99. Well, it used to be £1.79, I think.
It's one. It's definitely £1.99 in Aldi right now. I reckon it's on the. I thought it was £2.50 in Morrison's and Tesco, but I might be wrong.
But I'm sure Lidl used to do it for £1.79. Like not long ago either. We're talking like probably very recent history.
Okay, interesting.
And I think Franciscana, it's just a bit. It just gets it. I think Franciscana does do the Weissstefano for me, but they're almost different beers. It's kind of quite weird. They're both Weiss beers, but they're very different. But 111, I absolutely agree. Late brewing the point now. Luke says, question. Oh, this is going to be a good conversation. Has the craft beer bubble burst in the UK? Do you think brewers are now putting more effort into core and normal annual releases? Tom? Sorry, mate.
So the biggest problem with that question is, what do we term craft? And that's always been an ongoing debate, so it's impossible to answer. My biggest gripe with some, let's say, hype and heroed craft breweries is that they have never been willing to put out a core range. I understand the want to release something new every week because it looks exciting, but there's always a question in the back of my mind that says, well, hold on a minute. If you're not willing to do a core range, is that because is it because it's an active decision only to focus on something different every time, or is it because your consistency isn't there? Ooh. Because a lot of these breweries that do this will release effectively variants of the same beer each and every time, but they aren't quite close enough to be classed as the same one. I know there's always a question in my mind, and I'm not gonna pick anyone out for that. It's just it's just something that's always been in the back of my head. Going, I'm not sure. I don't understand it, because whilst in your own tap room, you can sit there and go, well, these are all new specials, and that's very exciting. If you want to sell consistent pints elsewhere, I feel like you need a consistent line. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just sits there. But has the bubble burst in the UK? I'll be honest, I've been bored of hoppy beers for years, so I'm not the best person to ask on this. Hoppy beers and impy stouts, there's nothing that's come along in the last year, maybe bar one, that I've been like, oh, that's impressive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've really not been taken away by it. The people that have impressed in the last year are those who have bought out new additions to a core range that were different to what they did before.
Yeah, that's fair. For me, I don't think the bubble's burst. I think we've moved on. I think we've evolved. I think when there was a very obvious bubble after the events of 2020 and 2021, but I think a lot of people got bought into craft beer during that time. And I think because of that, I think the drinking at home thing was a lot more prominent.
Yeah.
And I think people could enjoy beer a lot more. I mean, I will absolutely say I'll enjoy and think about a beer and mull over a beer a lot more at home than I will in a busy bar, because you can.
100%. Yeah.
I have to shut my eyes and almost like turn off and just go to this like tantric state if I'm in a bar to really get into a beer. I think that's harmed it. So people are in. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, certainly from a quality perspective, people are enjoying beer less. Well, there's the potential to enjoy beer less, I should say.
That's an interesting line of thought, because also what we saw, it started pre-2020 and the fiasco, but there was a progressive increase in high strength, high intensity beers.
Yeah.
Which really worked when you were sat at home with nothing to do, because you could take your time over it. I think the problem we've seen post that is that a lot of those beers have made their way into effectively session establishments, because most pubs are session establishments. And yes, having one beer on the bar that is a 1 or 2 and done is a great thing and something interesting. But if you're going to a bar to spend some quality time there with some people, that's not viable.
No.
So, yeah, it's interesting. That I think
because a lot of people got bought in during COVID, I think it's a cycle. So you probably find that the COVID kind of beer drinkers, in terms of like beer drinking generations, so it doesn't mean like age. It's really kind of at that point where certain people got into craft beer at a certain time.
Yeah,
I think you're going to notice a massive spike in that trend when COVID happened. Of course you are. People were drinking at home. What else could you do? Sit home and get pissed. Certainly in my town, because the local guys opened, and all of a sudden everyone could have amazing beer. But where am I going with this? I think that group of people, if you think of a timeline of a beer drinker's development, it's not an educational thing, but certainly development of palates. I think that has actually, there's a negative correlation between these guys moving along in their timeline and the quality of general quality. 2001, I thought, was a terrible year for Cloudwater. I thought they were terrible in 2001. And a lot of breweries were up there with it as well. Daya even had moments in 2001 where I was like, blimey heck, is this a Daya beer? But I think the market's changed as well, hasn't it? And I think that negative correlation between these guys moving along in their timeline and the quality of the beer going, add to the market challenges and obviously the material challenges, especially within Ukraine at the moment. I think there's a lot of factors that have meant that craft beer is a lot more of a difficult world than it was 2 years ago.
Price comes into that as well.
Yeah, price as well. Yeah, so all of a sudden you're asking more experience.
It was always expensive to make a low production, high quality beer.
Yeah.
And now we're at a point in time where those prices versus, say, 2019 are 4 times higher?
Oh, yeah. Easy.
Certainly at the peak in the last few years anyway, maybe not now. But like that, you've got to have a lot of confidence in the person you're buying from.
Yep.
To spend that amount.
Absolutely.
And that's a problem. I think that's, interestingly, I'm not sure I'd realised this before. I've kind of said it a few times, but maybe not realised it, that I've been doing this myself, is that previously, if I say back in 2021, price increases hadn't really happened at that point, and I go online and I go, you know what, I'm going to spend 50 quid on a box of different beers. The first 30 quid will be all stuff that I was confident in.
Yep.
And then the remaining 20 quid, I'd be very willing to just go gun ho and go, let's try it and see what happens.
Yeah,
I feel like now that's like out of a 50 quid box, I might be willing to try one that's gun ho. And the rest of them, I need to have confidence in before I buy it, because that's where the prices are at.
I remember vividly I agree with this. I remember vividly being in probably 2021, early 2021, where that's when I really got into beer. And I remember going on, it doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately, but Beer Hounds. It was a fantastic beer website. They used to get like kennel points or something. It was all to do with dogs, and it was like you get points and you spend it. I would probably do, I think, and you used to have to buy boxes of beer to get free postage, like multiples of 12.
Yeah.
Or 16. I can't remember what it was, but I used to get to like 11, and then I'd stop selecting the beer I liked, and I'd be like, oh, a Baltic Porter. What the hell's that?
Yeah.
And then, I used to stop at about 10, 9 or 10, and I'd have like 3 options. It'd be like a Baltic Porter, a fruited Weiss beer from Pasteur, and then some mental barrel-aged nutty job from Scotland or whatever. But like you say, you took the risks but I think there was a quality. Absolutely right, Tom. I think in terms of buy confidence, I think the buy confidence has been at probably an all-time low in the craft beer world.
Well, the price has gone up and the quality's come down. That is a killer for confidence.
Literally, exactly that. And if
I'm going to leave you gabbing for a minute, because apparently I went for a pee too early and now it's just non-stop.
he's got a little bladder as our Tom. For me personally, I just struggle to, rightly or wrongly, there's a few breweries that I know have the quality's remained. A lot of my local stuff, really, where you sort of drink it often and you can be confident in that. But in terms of actually taking the risk and getting beers from people like Track in Manchester, and Track are amazing, by the way. This is nothing against Track. I'm just mentioning names like further away names than from Norfolk. The risk-taking element isn't there anymore, because there is even some, like I said, like 2021. Sorry to name check them again. They've improved since then massively. But Cloudwater had a really difficult 2021. Like, I was tasting beers from Cloudwater. I was like, this has cost me £5. It doesn't work. Anyway, we'll get some comments. Interesting question, Luke. Has the bubble burst? I think it's a smaller bubble now. That's the best way I can say it. Jimmy C says, cooling down a bit now. My son's coming back over from, nice one, from New York, and then going back with him on 25th for a week, Oktoberfest Festival in Albany. Yes. Luke John says, 46 quid for the 6 OGs. Blue neck. 2 others. Oh. Okay, so you pay 46 quid for the 6 OGs, 2 others, and a Paul Lanner Oktoberfest glass. Delivery was a chunk of that. That's not bad.
I paid, I want to say 45 for a set of the 5 OGs from Beers of Europe, but it wasn't just one of each. It was a box of 12. It was it was 3 lots of 2 and then 2 lots of 3.
Oh, I love Beers of Europe. I want to do something with Beers of Europe. And I won't show you the email address because I'm not going to be that guy, but this is my receipt from when do you remember when my car broke down?
I do.
This is a receipt from that trip. And they gave me an email address. And it was like, speak to a marketing team because they could be interested in doing something. And I was like, oh, this is quite good. But yeah, quite exciting. More for you guys than me, but certainly exciting. Matt Hall, hello, mate. Thank flippings. It's Friday, absolutely. Luke Johnson, same beer but different shapes for different markets. I was going to do a video using the Paul Lanner reply. Yeah, I think that'd be a really good video. There's a lot of focus this year. You think in terms of beer buy-in, there's opportunities for like people to go into beer en masse and buy into something. I think Oktoberfest has come at a perfect time.
I'm going to try
Here
it.
we go.
I'm gonna try it.
Here we
And
go.
you'll be pleased to know I've finally got a Weiss beer glass.
Oh, there we go.
It's a Paulana one, so I'm going to
Yeah.
turn it around because it's not the brand, but I finally got one.
I just love my glassware. I'm to the point where I buy glasses like this that are like 70 years old with dead moths in them. Il Corvo, how you doing, mate? I often notice German beer bottles are scuffed. Is that because they recycle them more effectively than we do? Yeah. So I think when we recycle, generally we crush it and then it's fully recycled. And it goes back to that point that we said earlier. It's probably when you commented this, your comment's probably about an hour long or an hour ago. I think a lot of the German stuff seems to be in these shorter neck bottles. We've got a Schlenkerler, a Tegernse, and a Tuscher that are all in exactly the same bottle with no branding on the glass itself. It's all stickers. Be really interesting. Whipay says, well, Blowing Eggs probably finished his shift by now. He says, I'm back to work, friend. Enjoy your weekends. Whipay, if you're still watching, what a legend. Good to see you again, my man. Tom, how's that looking? That's looking fantastic, to be fair.
It looks pretty good, doesn't it? It looks pretty good.
I just remember this being really good.
I'm waiting to get it all in the glass before I take a sip. But
I've got a little soft spot for this beer because when I first started YouTube back in November 21, I went to the Hogsback Brewery, and they've got. So if anyone lives in Surrey or near sort of Camberley, Farnham, there's a brewery near you called Hogsback, and it's a proper old oak framed building farm complex. And upstairs in their bottle shop or their kind of store or the general shop, they've got the most incredible bottle shop. And if you don't know already, that area is fantastic for brewing. Tom, just talking on the group chat earlier, you've got like Phantom, Elusive, Siren, and there's a couple more from around there, and they stock them all. It's brilliant. Spenny, how you doing, mate? The Spencer Arms, good to see you, my man. Hi, chaps. Just walked in and got 10 minutes before going out again. Well, you're probably out and you're probably ordering your food now. We'll have to catch up on this. Have a great evening. Good to see you, my man. Luke John says 2 bottles of the same beer, assuming they're brewed within the same time frame, but have 2 different best before dates with a big gap between them. Is the Oktoberfest brewing a year-round ordeal? That's a fair point.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Fair point.
It could be.
Very fair point.
That looks like a good beer.
That does look like a good beer.
Look at
it looks good for being in that glass as well, Tommy.
It does. Well, I'm gonna get involved, and then I'm gonna peel away with an amount of foam on my nose. That's what's gonna happen there.
Go on, love it.
That's tidy.
Yeah,
That's really.
Compared to their normal Weiss beer, it's like night and day, isn't it?
Yeah, the normal loading of Weiss beer is very like
crap.
It's a little bit Weiss beer. No, I quite like it, like for a certain time and place, but it's very specific because it's like their regular one isn't quite Weiss beery enough.
No,
to scratch that itch. But what it does do is it's almost kind of like Weiss beer up front, and then it falls back into a little bit of a Helles kind of thing at the back. This is a step up. Yes, I'm very pleased I bought more of these than any of the other ones from Aldi yesterday.
You know what? I went into my Aldi today and they didn't have it on. I was on the phone to you at the time, I think, Tommy.
You were indeed.
They didn't have it in. Absolutely nightmare. Spenny says, I've got a massive question to ask. I've heard that Heineken has bought out Paulana. I hope not. What's your thoughts on this? Have you heard? No, I haven't. My thoughts are, if you're going to be bought out by anyone, it's probably Heineken, because they do tend to leave you alone a little bit.
I was just about to say, they have the best reputation for leaving people alone.
Yeah.
So it's only really a problem if they start cutting corners.
Yeah.
At which point we'll be very disappointed, of course. But yeah, it's a shame in the fact that you'd like them to be independent. I don't even know if they were independent before this point.
No, they weren't.
So I don't want to claim that. But if they were independent and then not, then that's okay. It's a bit of a shame. But at the same time, maybe that's because they're doing so well, and that's why they wanted them. And if they are doing so well, there's no reason to change anything. So
Yes.
fingers
I
crossed.
would be alarmed if you said it got bought out by AB InBev.
So AB InBev tend to leave stuff in Europe alone more than they do in the UK and America.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I think of AB InBev, I kind of go back to like those sort of Camden moments where Camden were producing nothing like absolutely bonkers, but it was well available and it was half decent. Mind you, saying that, to go against my own comment, if I'm in a bar and they serve the Camden Hell's Lager, I'm buying that. That's decent.
Oh, see, I won't because I don't think it's very good. But so what I think the trait that you need to look for when breweries get bought out is, have they been bought out because their marketing's really good, or have they been bought out because their beer's really good?
Yeah.
If they've been bought out because the marketing's really good, they're likely to go to shit, because that's why likes of Camden aren't any good, because their marketing was on point before they got bought out. Paul Arner aren't a heavy hitter in terms of marketing because they don't need to be. They sell themselves. At which point, why mess around with the beer?
Yeah, that's fair. I would tend to agree. And if you're going to buy a brand like Paul Arner, you'll be blooming lynched if you start changing it for the worse. It's like Paul Arner's like one of those Bavarian. It's like a Bavarian religion almost, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit.
Talking to Paul Arner, I'm just about to pour Paul Arner Oktoberfest.
That's what I'm going to have after this. This is very.
111 says, yes, agree with the Sainsbury's non-craft comment. Yeah, they do a fantastic range of beers, don't they, 111? Especially the German stuff and the continental stuff. Yeah. I quite like Sainsbury's for that. Luke John says, it's certainly an interesting question. It really is. And I think it's probably a question that we've all probably asked ourselves if you've spent £4.50 on a crap pale ale from a decent brewer, and you kind of go, is this where it's gone? Because that's certainly the point.
I wish it was only £4.50 at the minute, I'll be honest.
No, it's mental. It's absolutely bonkers. Rasco Disco, I don't think it's burst, but I think it's on a hiatus for a bit. I would tend to agree. So many breweries forced to focus on session pales and IPAs and large recipes on cost grounds rather than big beers and one-offs. Yeah, absolutely. But like Tom said though, like COVID was fantastic for big beers and one-offs and like collaborations. I remember having a little sex wee when I'd see a collaboration between one of my favorite breweries and someone else.
Yeah,
but it's a different place now. You know, pubs are more prominent. You know. Interestingly, speaking to someone in the trade at GBBF, he was saying the trend that he sees is people want to drink higher quality but less of it. Yeah, which kind of goes against what we're trying to say here. But certainly the word quality is probably rather than variety. Yeah, quality and variety are certainly two different things.
But the problem, I don't disagree in terms of mentality. Because I've always taken that line. I would rather drink 2 pints of something really good than 6 pints of something average. Like that's always been my mindset. But I do wonder whether the cost implication of what is considered good has been skewed by everything that's gone on in the world.
Yeah,
and now you can walk into a pub, easily pay £6 or £7 a pint, and if you only ever go to those places, which a lot of people who are into beer will, you'd be very quick to believe yourself that £6 or £7 a pint is fine because you're getting something of quality.
Yeah.
But what we've established in the last year is that actually a lot of that stuff isn't quality anymore. It's just expensive.
I would agree. I really, really would.
And I'd like to argue against that, but if I'm sat here drinking a £1.99 beer that blows most things I've drank in the last year out of the water.
Bonkers,
so it's quite difficult to argue.
It's bonkers. What you can't do is expect the quality, pay cheap, and expect local.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be one or two of them things that are skewed. It's a really difficult thing to do. Luke John says 18 months ago, it was a case of new and exciting beers almost daily from breweries. Yes, up and down the country. It really was. Now it seems you're waiting longer than previously for new want beers from breweries. Yeah, because I think, like Tom said, I think breweries have realised, especially now with the pubs opening up, like Verdant have gone heavily into cask now. Like, when were Verdant ever in cask? They were like the 4.5% pale ale kings. But they haven't been defiant against the change. They've embraced the change, and they've made really good cask beer, even to the point where I think they do like a 3.9% best bitter or whatever it is. It's changed, and it's all about capacity. You know, John wants to brew certain beers at certain times, but he can't because his capacity and the market says he needs to be brewing this beer at this time. Verdant and every brewery up and down the country will have the same issue, apart from the ones that are really on their ass. But yeah, that's my take. Tommy?
I do worry a little bit that breweries are following each other's tails in terms of trends and not actually what people are interested in. Because if we've seen a drop off in people buying, and I think that's probably the case in general, certainly for local stuff, right? Whether it's craft or local trad, cask, whatever. There's always this thing like every time I speak to a brewer, it's like I've got to produce a hoppy pale. I've got to produce whatever because that's what people want. And while there's an element of truth in that, but at the same time, I definitely feel like there's a shift away from some people from those styles just back into mainstream lager. And I think the reason for that is the lack of an alternative.
Well, people want quality. And you know that you can go and get a good German lager on a supermarket shelf for £2.50 a bottle, or £2 or £1.99 or whatever this is. People have gone beyond discovery. Discovery's phase for me is over, and it's all about quality now. And where can you get the best quality for the least amount of money? I think that's where it's gone.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's
being brutal because we're all working men and women, aren't we? Right, I'm going to rattle through a few comments because we're 20 minutes behind. Disco says, "Evening all, happy damn beer Friday." You can never tell who logs in on this account. Good to see you. Il Corvo says, "Mark,
it's always Disco."
What a guy, such a lovely bloke. Mark, you're 12 subscribers off 1,000. 32 people watching, just saying, people.
Yeah, come on, people. Right, Mark is 12 subs. It's probably less than that now. I'm gonna have a look at his channel and see what's going on.
How many people have shouted at me in the comments.
This lovely man who has hosted this little waffling chat for you is on the precipice of making the legendary 1K. Now, for those that don't know, 1K is important because it means you can monetize your channel and stuff like that. And that's not really that important because you don't really make anything. But the reason it is important is because as soon as you break that threshold, YouTube suddenly realizes that the channel is serious and dedicated and people are interested. So it would just be nice, let's be honest, if that carried through. So apparently my internet is really slow right now and I can't actually give you a live update on what's going on. Why is it so slow? Am I breaking up?
A little bit, but I think it might be my internet because I live in Norfolk.
Yeah, it's a bit of both. But you've got 12 to go still. So everyone in the chat, even if you've got secondary accounts, get tapping.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Tommy. I'm not. Yeah, I do it because I enjoy it. But there is that little thing in your head. You're like, you do want to get to 1,000. It's a big moment. Sharky says, "Hello, Disco." Evening, Disco, says Luke.
I think we need to give people an incentive here, though, because if they get you to 1,000, not only do we get babbling Oktoberfest beer content, but I think if you hit 1,000, it's shots on screen at that point. It's just going chaotic at that point.
Well, bigger than shots. I bought this beer over a year ago, and I was on 400 subscribers at the time. And I said, if I hit 1,000, I won't drink it all myself. We've got the Chimay Grand Reserve from 2021. It's not. It was 9% when it was bottled, but as you know, yeast, a little bit, well, probably about half a kilo of yeast in the bottom of that. That's probably about 97% volume.
Yeah, that's your space water at this point. Come on, people.
Yeah,
you can do it.
Disco says replies to Sharky and Luke by saying hand pink waving, which I know is one of the emojis that StreamYard can't get his head around. Nilong, how you doing, mate? What a guy! What a guy! Happy Oktoberfest Eve, fellas. Yes. So Oktoberfest, there will be live streams on YouTube. Oktoberfest starts tomorrow at noon in Germany, so that'll be 11 o'clock in the UK. I believe Bavaria is 1 hour. Tommy, this is where we need Dictionary Corner.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Oh, well, I'm about to say I'm going to dot out of the room in about 5 minutes' time because she's nearly home. I need to scooch the dogs away for her to come in. But yes, I'm pretty confident that it's an hour difference.
Yes. Fantastic. David Wilson, how you doing? Neil Long, I just want to say this. This man went to Malta, or he loves Malta. Neil Long's the reason, or one of the reasons, one of the big reasons I went to Malta, because the Maltese beer scene is just exploding off the charts at the moment. I went in March, went to Lord Chambray, which is Malta's original craft brewery, top draw beers, like genuinely really, really good beer. When I was there, I wanted a Chunky Boy t-shirt. I'm an XL now. I was probably a extra small when I started YouTube, but now obviously we get a bit chunky around here. So I wanted the XL t-shirt. They didn't have it. Neil's messaging me all the way through his trip, just like making me horrendously jealous about these beer destinations he was in. And he went to Lord Chambray. And I was at work and I replied after work saying, "Oh, mate, if they've got an XL t-shirt in there, let me know and I'll PayPal you over the money." Neil was like, "Oh, I'm already on the ferry back," and he sent me a video. And then, like 3 days later, he was like, "I've gone back to Gozo, which is the little island, beautiful island, just off the bottom of Malta, off the south of Malta." And he went and got me a shirt. What a guy! So Neil, you're a legend. Honestly, what a guy! It's a lovely shirt. I really appreciate it, and he very kindly gave it to me. What a guy! With 2 beers as well.
Legend.
Yeah. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. David Wilson, hi all.
I do.
Another legend of the channel. What a guy. How you doing, David? He's often off gallivanting around the country, and he sort of I'll tell you where he'll be Derby Beer Con, wouldn't you, David? Maybe. Loves a beer festival. Luke Wilson says hi, Mr. Wilson. Luke John Frost, sorry, says hi, Mr. Wilson. I've had a couple of beers now. It's all go to shit. Sharky says hello, David Wilson. David Wilson says Hog's Back is my local brewery. Love their shop. Isn't it good? It's like if like Harry Potter had access to like a Hogwarts bottle shop, it looks exactly like that. Like Hermione Granger saying Wingardium Leviosa up top. It's well weird. Spenny says still here. Good to see you, my man. Thanks for coming in, Spenny. That's a growing channel as well. Go and have a look at the Spencer Arms. He's a really nice guy.
Good guy he is.
Good guy, and loves his beer as well. Absolutely loves his beer. Joey says, "I feel like Tom has been pouring that beer for 17 minutes."
It did take a little while.
One bubble at a time. Perfection takes time, Joey. It's true that did look insane because he had the lovely. He didn't talk about it, which is quite surprising for Tom. Because I know he likes a Guinness, but he didn't talk about the domage that he achieved.
It was good. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I saw it. Sharky says, "You guys are making me want to start Sharktoberfest sooner." Oh, right mate, honestly.
Right now. It starts now.
Luke John says 30% is owned by the Dutch Heineken IBV. Double D's at 23. That's not a name I recognise. How you doing, my man? Good to see you. I'm gonna have a drink to you, my friend. Thanks for coming in. Good evening, mate. How you doing? Yeah, just a bit of Oktoberfest chat round here between me and my good friend Tom. Quality over quantity, says Sharky. Yes, that is the thing. I think speaking to this distributor in the trade at GBBF, that was the overriding thing. He said, you'll notice a lot more like craft lager going on, like quality lager going on in your locals and stuff. And that's the reason why. John Frost says 48-hour Sharktoberfest. Then, yeah, that's when he finds out he's probably got his gravity wrong in his beer, and it's actually 9.2%.
That'd be good.
Quality over quantity, a bit like this stream, says Luke John Frost. I think that's probably a compliment and a slap down in one sense.
Yeah, could go either way, that one.
Yeah, but thank you, mate. Absolute legend. I love you, Luke. Mate, message me on Instagram. I want to speak to you. Sharky says, Luke John, I'm sticking to the schedule. Just a dream. Luke says, is money now the biggest part of craft beer? I never used to look at the price. Maybe explains the saving, the don't in savings. Yeah, well,
Right, back in a sec. Got a letter in.
That's right, mate. I think money's just been at the forefront of everything in life, hasn't it? Be it if your car insurance has gone up and all these other things that we don't want to talk about here because it's all an escape. This, you know, I want my stream to be a bit of an escape from that nonsense. But yeah, I genuinely think so. It's been for me. I'm a regular guy. I've got a 2-year-old little girl that I've got to support. I've got my wife working part-time because she's doing like a bit of maternity stuff. Price is absolutely a factor. John Francis, I've subscribed with all of my 4 accounts. Sick of seeing them. You legend. Thank you, mate. David Durrell, how you doing? You're at home with COVID. It's on the resurgence again, and it's sorry, mate. I hope you're okay. It's been a bit minging, I think, for a few people recently. So, from the bottom of my heart, I hope you get through this, mate, and you're back drinking good beer soon. Because no point drinking the good beer now because you can't taste it. Spenny's in again. Catch you on the other side, guys. Wish I could grab a beer and keep tuned in. Great watch. Thank you. Enjoy. Cheers, everybody. Spenno. I'd love to kill the advert. I'd love to kill the adverts and wish I could stay tuned. I put adverts on this stream. Sorry, mate. Yeah, don't know. Sorry. If they are putting adverts halfway through, I'm not about that. Luke John says people from Malta are called Maltesers. Fact. I suppose they are because they're called Maltese. And yeah, I like that. Good fact. I like that. That's the kind of thing I like. That's the kind of thing I like. He says, I'm in Barcelona, Rome, Prague, and Copenhagen in May. I've been to two of those 4. Hitting up Garage Project, Mental Brewery, Jungle Juice, Staroparman, and Mikela Warhogs. When you go to Copenhagen, Luke, message me because it's a fantastic. It's called like Escal or something. Skal. If you Google Skal, Skaal, beer, Copenhagen, there's a bar, and it's one of those like bars that's got 100 keg lines, and it tells you where they are on the keg, like if it's had too much out of it, if there's loads. Yeah, really good place. But yeah, generally Copenhagen's very expensive. Expect to pay €15 for a pint of Carlsberg. Joey says, I asked a chick to see her Malters once. What can I say? David Wilson says, London Brewers Alliance Festival at Fuller's tomorrow. Oh, big weekend for beer then. A nice little southern and northern option. I like that. Luke John says, so you're saying Tom gives good head bark? I can neither confirm or deny, but I have been beating his door down to go back to Nottingham. So kind of make of that what you will. Alan Mead says, evening, all Tom. I'm nearly finished on the comments, mate. I just want to catch up. Craig says, Malta, the home of Maltesers. That's why I went, mate. I absolutely love Maltesers. #1 chocolate. Sharky says, hello, Alan. Joey says, the best thing about beer is drinking it. I absolutely agree. And everyone goes to me, do you brew your own beer? I'm like, why would I do that?
That's true.
Horrendous idea. Effort, you're going to bugger it up 10 times, and then you might get one decent beer that's going to be way less quality than what someone else produces. No, I buy it, mate. Hey up, Dillad. Alan says hi to Kev. Hello, David Nicol. He says, first time here and enjoying the chat. Thank you for coming in, David. Yeah, this is what we do most Fridays. Summer's a bit weird, isn't it, Tom? Because we've both got VW camper vans and we're off. But generally speaking, if you pop your notifications on my channel, and this guy's the Crummy Beard, we generally do these together. And I mean, personally, I really enjoy it because it's like conversation starters left, right, and centre, and it's good to see some old faces. And Tom,
so most weeks throughout the year we're here.
Yeah, generally more often than not. Anywhere, I mean, it's been fantastic starting at 4:30 because it's 6:10 and I've had a good feel already. But We're normally 5 o'clock, but yeah, keep your eyes peeled. But David, good to see you here, mate, and thank you for coming in. David Wilson, another David, says, hi, Alan. Sharkies, I'm doing good. Thank you. How you been? To Alan. I'm going to skip the kind of internal communications. Matt Hall says you have 10 cars, Mark. That's not strictly true. I've got one broken car I'm still paying insurance on that's out on the road. I've got a work van. I've got a VW camper. I've got a Westfield, like kit car, sports car. And then I co-own a Mark 1 Escort with my dad. So I have 5. And it's pretty... And the problem is with... I don't know how it's worked out. But the problem is I pay all the insurances for all 5 in the space of 2 months.
Ouch.
Yeah. And that was minging 3 years ago. But right now it's absolutely rank. Because it's just so expensive.
Talk to me about that after, because my insurance hasn't gone up.
Yeah, but the problem is I may have had 2 crashes in 1 year on the commercial vehicles, so I get absolutely raped for that. Same. Alan says same. I have a Goose Island IPA chilling on perfect draft. I'll be cracking into that soon. You know what? I've had this sitting in here now. Oh, it's not the IPA. I'm gonna.
Is that Midway?
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say it'd be interesting to sort of see what it's like on keg. David Durrell says taste is not too bad. That's good. This morning's headache, based on probabilities, was due to that homebrew side. I don't think that's on an HS 111, mate.
Has David got the Rona again?
David's got the Rona, but he's fought the Rona with homebrew cider.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I reckon the cider will win that bout.
Yeah. He says, done my isolations, off to York Beer Festival tomorrow. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Joey says, Mark, why do you have a 200 beer refrigerator when you only have 100 beers? In truth, I have probably a 15 beer refrigerator because it's tiny. And I do genuinely have 200 beers. I just don't know what I'm going to do. Alan says, haha, Fraser is out the back. I'm not sure. I'll still go back to those extra Stone Crow cam wraps with Fraser out of a helicopter. Hilarious. Joey says, I'm the same with weed. People talk to me about growing it. I tell people, bro, I'm a pothead. We're nearly there. Luke John Frost says, in 15 minutes, I'm a 15-minute walk from Skull. I'll visit for short. It's Odyssey. Brilliant. It's not the cheapest place. Take a few quid, but yeah. Luke John says, how was the horse box bar? It's going well. If I'm honest, taking our eye off the ball a little bit with it, because summer holidays. My mate Dom, who I'm in it with, he's got a disabled daughter. So he spent a lot of time focusing on her, especially through the summer months. They've had to fight a lot of legal stuff to get her into the right school. But now she went back the beginning of this week, so it's going to pick up again. The videos are going to continue soon. It's just been a bit of a lull, and I've got to speak to Tommy about sorting out that logo because we've got some ideas. Joey says, getting used to paying a lot more for cars. United Auto Workers in the US are on strike. Oh, geez.
Joey will be absolutely devastated to know that most of our cars don't come from the USA.
Yeah. Yeah. Generally, we avoid those. Luke John Frost says, I had a larder fridge last year down to a small countertop fridge. Now, good for you, mate. You're obviously making some bloody good changes that have added, 22 years onto your life? Incredible for you, honestly. Yeah, incredible. David Durrell, thinking of importing my 2020 Mustang from South Africa. Hate to think how much the insurance will be. David, are you in the UK or are you... Hello?
She's in.
MCB, how are we?
She's in and waiting to make witty remarks, I'll tell you.
Oh, she's feeling quite sassy today. Good day at work.
We'll find out shortly, I think.
I like this variation on these streams where you don't know what MCB you're going to get.
You don't know. You've got no idea. You might get none at all.
Sometimes you might get a correction. It was released in 1964. Other times you get sassy MCB. Luke John says, peak wedding season is always September for future reference, Mark. Yeah, yeah, there's been some weird things, and I've spoken to a lot of people that aren't in maybe the drinks industry in the weddings, but the food. And it's just like all the things that you think apply don't. It's quite weird, but it's all about the education. Luke John Frost says we don't want that rubbish. We want Chinese. It's true. And here's a name that I haven't seen in my stream for the best part of 9 months. Jack Flippin' Howard. How are we? The Suffolk Viking. We have corners over here, Joey Youngstown.
Jack Howard, where have you been?
I know where Jack. Been? The last time I spoke to Jack would have been I know Jack, your mum had an accident, didn't she? She was quite bad. And I think 6 months after that, you had twins. How are you? How's your mum? And how are the guys? How are the twins? Matt says I ordered a new car in April last year, and it should get it at the end of November this year. What? Is it like that in the car industry now? It's mental.
Some of them are.
I knew it was bad, but that's crazy. Joey says, who would win in a death battle between a zebra or a giraffe? Zebra, bigger teeth. David says, hi, Jack. Jack Howard, so good to see him in the chat. David Durrell, I'm in York at the moment, off back to South Africa a week on Tuesday until early December. Nice. Good time to be in York at the moment with the old BFS kicking off.
Hold on, David. Who are you supporting in the Rugby World Cup?
Where's your allegiance? Don't you do that to him? That's
no. You're allowed to pick both because Dictionary Corners England and South Africa. But I'm just curious.
What is Dicko got a bit of South African heritage?
An eighth, yeah.
Yeah. Glory Hunter.
Called you a glory hunter.
Sharky says hello to Jack.
You're getting torn out from behind the camera.
Yeah, I can imagine. And it wouldn't have been the two fingers either. It would have been a shaky, clenched fist, I think. Luke John Frost says next time Tom is up in North Yorkshire, he'll have to call into the Retro Classics, probably the best importer of muscle cars.
Interesting. Whereabouts are they in North Yorks? I was there last weekend.
Yorks. David says, went to my brother's wedding last Friday and came back with a Rona. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I hope you had a good time. Luke says, Jack, you little lovable condom collector. God. Mel says, I used to do wedding photography. It pretty much ruined all the weekends when anything fun was happening. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm worried about. I'm not going to lie. But if you're on a bar, there doesn't have to be that the whole thing that we're building is like, it's going to be quality. So like the beer and the spirits and the wines and everything else is going to be absolutely top drawer, like the best we can source from our local region. But the service is going to be like that kind of like relaxed. We haven't done it as a mobile bar. We've done it as a mobile micro pub for a reason. So when you go into a micro pub, it's like really relaxed. It's like, but that's what people want, especially around here. We've got a lot of do-it-yourself wedding venues around here. So a lot of farms. Like if anyone's watched Clarkston's Farm, where he's sort of diversifying into his restaurant and his shop and stuff, a lot of farmers around here are doing it with wedding venues because they've got these big oak frame barns that are stunning. And they've got nothing to put in them. So they're turning them into dry wedding venues. So that's what we're hoping to get on the back of. Joey said, what about silverback gorilla versus grizzly bear? Oh. Gorilla, it's more intelligent. Might not have the claws and the teeth, but...
Yeah, grizzlies aren't as big as you think either.
No, they're not.
Yeah. If that was polar bear, I think it'd be a different answer, but... Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go silverback. They're clever. David Durrell says, I'm a huge rugby league person coming from St Helens, so I don't really care. Fair play.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Why have we got an American football fan in the chat? What's going on?
Oh God. Luke John says Swainby.
I'm kidding.
Near Northallerton. There we go. That's where the muscle car place is.
Okay.
Jack Howard says, my mum had a big accident 33 years ago when she had me, bless her. Now, seriously though, Guy, thanks everyone. All is well with family and life in sunny Suffolk. As good as ever. Just a very busy man. Mate, fantastic to hear. Literally, I'm borderline as much Suffolk as I am Norfolk at the moment. So if you ever fancy a beer, Jack, you got me on Instagram. Just hit me up. We'll go for a beer. David Durrell says it's a classic car show in your York Race Course 2 this weekend.
No, a lot of events this weekend, apparently.
They didn't do that last year, I don't think. The classic car show. Because I was there last year.
Yeah.
Luke John Foss says they've just took delivery of a 1967 V8 Mercury Cougar. Who cares about Mercury's? Like Fords without the label. But they're sexy. But more importantly, a 67 Ford Mustang Coupe V8.
I wanted to be really annoyed and derogatory about the American old cars until you said the 67 Mustang Coupe, and I was like, I can't even be mean about that one. No, it's too nice.
That Mercury Cougar would have been about 140 foot long as well. They were massive. So much like, you know, when the Pied Piper plays his flute, if you start talking about American muscle cars, normally a Wild John appears. So I'm just waiting for him to come in the chat.
Yeah, there'll be a Yorkshire brewer appearing anytime.
He'll have that bloody hat and glasses combo on again. It'll be a nightmare. Alan Meters, did anyone see the video online about the meteor hole left on a beach in Port Marnock? Really?
Yeah, in Ireland. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Priceless stuff. Yeah.
It was a decent hole, that.
Right, I'm going to go for a little wee. Tommy?
Enjoy. I will take over on it. All right. I can't flick through the comments, but I can read them out. Captain Meets Adventure says, all righty. Or who would win a fight in a bag lady or the less than clean female of his? I'm paraphrasing here for sanity. I'll be honest, I think bag lady's got it all day long because that's a suffocation risk right there with the bags. So that's taking my bet. Luke John says, if you're drinking in York, hit up Valhalla, David Dorrell. I've heard good things about Valhalla. Never been, but it sounds incredible. I would like to go. David Wilson just saying hello to Captain Meets Adventures. And Ethan Griffiths says, hi, guys. Hope you're both well. Very well, thank you. Mark will probably be well in about 20 seconds' time once he's finished relieving himself. One thing I have realised is that Mark pees quicker than anyone else in the world. He'll be back any time now. Dictionary Corner is just currently looking at me going quicker than me. I was like, yes, because the volume is less. But you asked that question, so we didn't have to go there. Jack Howard says, I've missed the crumbly bread. What, mate, where you been? You could get back involved. I've not left. I'm still here. Luke John also says, I could have sold a 1961 Chevy Corvette C1 convertible with the V8 crate motor in tuxedo black. He knows too much. But Mercury Cougar was easier and quicker. I'll be honest. The Corvette C1 sounds sexier somehow. Captain Meat says, for me, the Ford Mustang Mark 1 from 1969 is hand down the best American car of all time. I'm not going to disagree with you on that one. I'll be honest, it's not a particularly illustrious list, the best American cars of all time. But you can hate me if you want, but I'm a Euro fanboy, so I can't help it. He's returned.
Where did we get to, mate?
We caught up, mate.
Oh, love that.
Yeah,
love that. Ethan Griffiths, how you doing, mate? Thanks for coming in. I want to ask you a question. I have a friend who moved down to Bristol, and you said you were in Bristol. You called yourself... So my mate's name is Ethan Griffith McCleary. I'm just worried that there's two Ethan Griffiths in Bristol. So I'm talking to you like you're my mate from Norfolk that moved down to Bristol. Are you Ethan Griffith McCleary, or are you an interloper? And I love it. I just wanted to get to the bottom of that.
Good question. It's a good question.
I was in the comments. I was like, oh, it's Ethan Griffith. All I saw was Ethan Griff. And I was like, it's Ethan. How you doing, mate? And then I was like, after, I was like, Where are we up to? Joey, the best American car. I know you addressed this. Oh, it's like choosing the least worst, isn't it?
The best American car is like choosing the best lager brewed in Stoke-on-Trent.
The best American car.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
Sorry.
So if we have to take hold on. There's a rule here. The best car is not actually the best car. It's the car that is the most kind of emotionally provoking, and it also has to be impractical to be cool, right?
Yep.
Like they're the rules. I feel like the only answer to this is the Hummer H1.
Oh God! What the 1 gallon a mile if you put your foot down?
Yeah, you got to go to every petrol station that you find, but I'm not seeing anything notably improved on that. They're very good at loud cars. The not the Corvette. Which is it? The other one. The what's it
Dodge.
called?
Dodge Viper.
Yeah, the every time you get a track ready Viper in the UK, they are bananas loud, like insane compared to everything else. Like even compared to like a Valkyrie, they're just bonkers. But
I just feel that's an American thing. Like every car, they don't know the size of their engines over there. You go, what you got? They go V6. It's like, yeah, but is it like a 2 litre, 2.5 V6, or is it like a 3.5? Haven't got a clue. All they care about, well, generally it's a V8. Generally. Whereas over here, with what we've been up to, we're like 1.6. Well, everybody knows. I think that's part of the problem. They go, I think it's a 325. What the hell's that? It's a cubic inch. Right. Well, now that's an issue because I don't know what cubic inches means. I just don't know.
There's also a question: how did you get so few horsepower out of an 8-litre engine?
How do they do it? They're like, we got a 5-litre V10. You'll be going, blooming hell, this is going to be quick. They go, it's got 284 horsepower. You'll be going, huh? We get that. Because all they do is
you do genuinely sit there going, hold on a minute. Okay, that horsepower, that car's got the same horsepower as my car, but the engine weighs as much as my car.
It's so funny. Well, they will be more talky, but yeah, it's not the point.
We were meant to be focusing on Oktoberfest on this stream, and I'll be honest, I think the Germans would appreciate the ridiculing of American vehicles, so yeah. I think it's fine.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to move on. Joey says that's not saying the best UK beer YouTuber. Well, it certainly isn't me. That is for sure. Paul says the Pontiac Aztec. That's a disgusting car, and my cousin had one.
I'm annoyed how accurate that previous comment from Joey was. It's like, yeah,
some true. Yes,
you're right.
Some have got big engines, but not a lot of horsepower. I hear you. Sharky says, Joey, Ford Pinto. Hey, the 2-litre Pinto engine was a legendary engine over in these parts. Joey says, truth be told, I haven't owned an American car in 20 years. Well, there we go. There we go. You're on the ground and you know what it's like. Shark, that's the most explosive. Luke John says, a 64 Pontiac GTO, sexy car. I used to love that. I used to love the Pontiac GTOs. And I love the Pontiac Firebirds. It wasn't GTO and the Firebird were two different cars, weren't they? GTO had the 4 kind of squarish headlights, didn't it?
I think did they share a chassis or share an engine? But
yeah, probably shared probably both, knowing America. Comment again, save the mother trucking date. Yeah. Paul says the Knight 2000 could have been the best American car. Is that the Knight Rider?
No,
That was a Firebird,
Knight Rider. Wasn't Knight Rider a Pontiac Firebird?
It was a Firebird, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Joey said, I mean, if we're getting into military grade stuff, I suppose the Bradley fighting vehicle gets my vote. Wouldn't have a clue. If I was to pick a best American car, it's probably something for the 50s. Yeah. I think that's where America were doing good stuff. It's good around here in Norfolk because we've got all the American bases. Right? I think we've got 2 or 3 American air bases around here, and they import all their cars and then they sell them. So getting hold of a decent American car around here is, pretty easy. Joey says, I never asked or even noticed what kind of engine my car has. Yeah, it's true. Honestly, everyone goes to V8. Nobody knows. My last American car was a 2004 Dodge Neon that was that thing was a pie on Sky.
We got those here, and no one bought them.
No. But because the problem is, Dodge in America's got a brand name. Over here, they're called Chryslers, and everybody cries every time they buy one. So I don't know. There's no one else around here. TV American cars are iconic. General Lee, Starkey, and Hutch car, 18 van kit, Magnum Ferrari. Yeah. It's Hollywood. It's Hollywood. Luke John says Hemi Cuda 71. Oh yeah. I love the Cudas.
You know what? I'm going to give American cars I'm going to give them some slack, purely based on the Jeep. It's such a good practical off-roader. So
but
good.
A more practical operator around Nottingham streets, Tommy, it's kind of like a Jeep, is...
you want me to say the Suzuki Jimny?
The Suzuki Jimny.
It is, and it's even better, which is why I got one. But yes, it's good.
So Tom has... And I don't mean this in a patronising way at all, because I'm a working man. Tom has the most interesting working man's 3-car garage you could ever wish to witness.
It's brilliantly ridiculous.
There's not a normal vehicle in there.
Tom, no, there's 3. The Jimny is Dictionary Corners. I don't own that. I do drive it, but I don't own it.
It's quite funny seeing you in it, though.
Oh mate, it's so good. It's the best terrible car in the world. It's fantastic. It's the most fun you'll ever have with 8 horsepower. It's brilliant. Yes, and then I've got my van, which I've had since 2017. Has just been my main thing. I bought it because of the dogs, very practical reasons. But then I put massive tires on it, and it looks like a Tonka. Well, it looks like a what are they called?
It looks like the 18 van.
Yeah, I often get, is that the 18 van, even though it looks nothing like it. It's just funny. And then to complete the not the Scale Electrics, what's the Hot Wheels? They all look like Hot Wheels cars, right? So because of the oversized wheels, the van looks like a Hot Wheels car. And then I bought a 124 Spider as that was my COVID panic purchase.
I think that's probably investment. I think that'd be a modern classic within time.
I have no regrets whatsoever. It's so good.
I went out in it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this has got a 1.4 engine,
1.4 litre engine." Sounds like Thor is furious with you as you drive. It's fantastic.
Someone pull away in like quiet areas of Nottinghamshire, and it would be like bang, 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 bang. It'd be like, it's a convertible, so everyone's looking at you, and I'm like, "Oh my god."
The best bit about it, of course, is that it's not, well, it is modded, but not in the noise area. That's all stock.
No.
Banana.
It's certainly modded in the speed area, that's for sure. Jack Howard says, I'd like an F-150 truck. Yes. Cool.
No, they are cool. The F1, I do like them. I do like the F-150.
Just to be an obnoxious bellend, but I decided it wasn't really necessary as that mission is completed. Yeah, imagine you cutting around Southport with that, mate. I would love, and this is like a bit of a dream of mine, I'd love a black Ford F-150 with chrome grille, and on the back, the Ford in the tailgate is painted white, and then the deck is like light oak with chrome strips down it.
That's very bougie. That is very bougie.
It's bougie, but it's not because it's a truck. But yeah, I'm with you.
I'm with you. I know. I'm aware that every person watching right now is already subscribed to your channel, but some of you must have other accounts to try and push Mark.
No, I don't want that.
We need to do it. No, we need to do it because I want to see you neck that bottle of Chimay right now. This isn't me bigging you up to hit a number. This is me bigging you up so I can watch you fall into a state of
cheers, mate.
With that massive bottle of Chimay. So, if anyone else wants to join me on that, please get your second accounts at the ready and subscribe to this channel again, because as soon as it happens, that's what's happening. I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do it right now with other accounts. I just realised I've been saying this and not done it myself. So
hold on a minute.
Phones at the ready. I tell you, second account, as in the one I used before I had this channel. It's not.
Yeah, I've got one of those. David Ross says, my Mustang V8 is 5 litre and puts out 460 horsepower. David, we have 2 litre EcoBoost engines from Ford that put up the same amount of money. or same amount of power. If only you could put the weight on the road. Yeah, the thing is with them American engines, they're so torquey, so you do end up spinning out left, right, and centre. Ethan Griffiths has debunked the Ethan theory. He says, I'm a different Ethan, and not quite from the Bristol area. If we're talking beer, I've got a lovely local brewed beer tonight, Full Circle by Stonehouse Brewery. Ooh, nice, mate. Sorry for confusing you. I see Ethan Griffith, and I'm like, hold on a minute, it's got to be my mate from Bristol.
Bristol is elite when it comes to local beers. They're so
mental,
good. So good.
We walked between. Where did we go when we were in Bristol? We didn't even go to I don't even know if Arbor have a tap house. Yeah. We went from
Tenor.
Even the Brewdog in Bristol, and stick with me for a minute. I know Tom's going to look at me and he's going to growl at me, but even the Brewdog had 3 more brew company beers on tap.
Okay.
And more are good. More beer coming in. If someone like Bristol orders your beer, someone like Moore's going to go, well, yeah, of course we're going to do that. So we went from Moore to the Landogger Trowel, which has if you're a decent Bristol brewer, they've got your beer in there. Then we went from there to Left-Handed Giant, who are probably one of my breweries of the year. Genuinely, if you've not had anything from Left-Handed Giant in the past 12 months, you need to. And then we went from there to the New Bristol Brewery, who have improved leaps and bounds over the dross that they were producing in 2021.
Yeah.
And probably into 2022 as well. So, yeah, what a place. And we didn't even touch on people like Lost and Grounded just up the road in Bath. Lost and Grounded in Bristol. Arbor, Electric Bear that are in Bath. Bristol Beer Company. You're talking a lot of very, very good breweries within walking distance.
Yes.
Joey says, Jack Howard, bro, I've so many friends with unnecessarily big trucks. It's kind of a statement. Yeah, especially in the South. It's like how you do how you're doing well professionally is how big a truck is. Sorry, Joey said, I want a DeLorean. Weirdo, but the working time travel version. Yeah, that makes sense. Jack says that would be my heartbeat, Joey. If I could get one for good money over here, mate. Rolling coal would suit me. Joey says at my house I've got a Kia Forte. The wife has a Nissan Altima and the Vespa. I'd love to see you cutting about. I hire in that, mate. I have to say, incredible.
Joey on a Vespa, really.
Joey on a Vespa. It would be the most amazing thing with his Parker jacket on and his Oasis badges stitched into the arm. Joey says up here they put salt on the roads, paying a lot of money for a car silly because it just rusts. Yes, that's true.
I'm going to say six to go, people. Come on, dig out your second accounts.
Oh, are we there?
Let's get that bottle of Chimay on the go.
Oh no. The rust belt is terrible. I can't drive the Ford Escort on the road or the Westfield on the road if there's been any element of moisture. Or between the months of about October.
I drive mine in any conditions, knowing full well it's going to rust to pieces, but I just don't care.
That's the commitment when you buy a Italian-French collab car.
No, Italian-Japanese collab car.
Ah, is it MX-5 Mazda?
It's MX-5 chassis, yeah.
Naughty. That never works. Yeah, tell me about it. Jack says, Yank cars are like having a massive wang, but you can't get it hard. What's the point if you can't use So this is what we've missed, Jack. This is what we've missed.
Oh, that's the best analogy I've ever seen.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, that's good. Luke John Frost says, okay, keep it German. Best looking for me is the Mercedes-Benz 300 SL. For precision has to be the 97 Porsche 911 Carrera RSR.
Okay. I was starting to lose faith in Luke after his American car obsession, but the 300 SL is beautiful, and that RSR is an absolute weapon. So yeah. I'm all over it. Yeah, I'm all over it.
Is the 300 SL the Gullwing? That's the 250, isn't it?
The 300 was. Hold on. The 250 was the original Gullwing, but I think the 300 had them as well.
The hardtop.
Yeah.
It was mental. I was down in the New Forest, would have been 5 years ago. So anyone's been to the New Forest, if you haven't been to New Forest, it's an area of protected land in the south of England that is literally the New Forest. When King Henry was chopping down all the trees to build boats, he planted the New Forest, hence why it's named the New Forest. He planted the New Forest because he realised the need for wood and for future generations. That's the long and short of it.
It's the New Forest.
Is that right, Tom?
Which bit?
King Henry planting it for wood for the future
I've
generations.
got no idea. Dictionary Corner was sassing you and I muted the microphone because you managed to say the word New Forest about 18 times in 30 seconds. So she just
You know why?
Sorry, what's it called?
Because I love it there. And my granddad was born in the heart of the New Forest.
I'll be honest, I'm a bit jealous it's not closest to me because I've never been, but it's about the only place south of where I am that I'm like in the UK. I'm like, no, I think I could get on with that.
Yeah, it's kind of good. But the New Forest has got Bewley. So we went around Bewley and we saw some amazing cars. Like, it's just the best of the best. And then it's quite funny because we went to a restaurant called The Pig or The Pigs in Brockenhurst, which is like one of these beautiful stately homes that now turned into a restaurant, and it's all very lovely. And the best car I saw all day was in that car park, and it was a Gullwing Mercedes in silver with the red leather.
Ooh.
And yeah, it had the fins on it was like flipping heck. I've just paid 35-40 quid to go into a car museum, and the best car I've seen all day is outside a pub. But it's not a pub, but yeah. Paul comes in with a thing saying, guys, if you're looking for a cheap but good Oktoberfest beer, go to Allod, I think that's Aldi, and pick up some Rheinbacher or Steinhuser. Have they done like a fest version of that?
They're the two they normally do, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd be interested. They might have done a fest version. If they did, I missed it.
No, I sent you their
the poster.
Their poster earlier, and it was interestingly they had the specials in, which were these two: the Paul Honor Oktoberfest beer and the Erdinger Oktoberfest Weiss. But on that poster, the thing they promoted the most was their Rheinbacher and that Steinhauser, even though they sell it all the time, presumably just because they make more money on it. I don't know. But yeah, weird one. But yes. Got some good stuff in there, for sure.
Oh, now into bottle tops into the old schmucker mug.
Schmucker
mug. Where are we? David Durrell says you may be able to get a 2-litre car with 460 horsepower, but it won't sound as good as my V8 with no turbo. It's true. That's the thing. That is the thing. The Porsche 959 was a beautiful car too. I love the Porsches from like the 80s and 90s. I really did. Even those rank ones. Like, is it the 924? The 948?
One,
the 924 and the 948? Like those kind of like unloved ones.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the 924 now is gone from the unloved variant to the most wanted in terms of collectors.
Weird.
Yeah. Some big bulky wing mirrors that do it.
Yeah, it's just not a Porsche, is it? Joey says the Italian, German, and Japanese collab car, the Axis. Oh God, read that in confidence as well.
Be,
Joey says German.
There's nothing German about it, but the other two, yeah, sure.
Nightmare. German cars over here are only for the elite because servicing them is insanely expensive. It's kind of that. It's like that over here, Matt. That's why we got so many South Korean cars cutting about. Steinhauser is German for stone houses.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Do you want a fun Oktoberfest related fact?
Hit me.
Do you know that the word Stein only relates to stone or pottery vessels, and the glassware they use at Oktoberfest are not Steins?
I like that.
They are called. Hold on. Oh, I shouldn't have shut my computer down before doing this. Bear with. I'll tell you what the proper word is for the glass variant.
Look at that.
Will allow me.
That's a £2 £1.99 bottle of lager from Aldi.
Which one's that?
Spartan.
Why not doing it for me? I'm being let down by Wikipedia, which is no great surprise here. There's a town called Stein in Bavaria, which is interesting. Stein glass.
Luke John Frost says, "Don't listen to me though. My first family car was a Ford Capri. Your family car was a Ford Capri. Flipping heck, sporty but family friendly, mate. That's a pretty decent family car. My first family car was the first one I can remember was a Ford Sierra Estate 4x4. That's things like 2.5 litre Ford Sierra Estate. But yeah, John says I think someone just hit that. No, I did not.
Has he done it? Is it?
Did I actually? I'm smiling because like,
is it in?
Did I actually?
Is it in? Break out the chimney!
No, I did not.
He's done it. He's done it. Round of applause.
Did I actually?
You've done it. Get that chimney open. I want to see you turn into a vegetable before 9 p.m.
Oh no, I did not.
You've done it.
Right.
It's there.
Tube Buddy. Where's Tube Buddy? I never log into this. You have to have a login.
What are you doing? Just look at your YouTube account. You don't need a third party to verify this. Just look at YouTube.
I'm smiling because it's a bit of a thing, isn't it?
It's a moment, mate. It's a moment. Even better that it's caught on camera. Just look at his smug face. Look at him.
It's lovely. It's so good, isn't it? It's like
Chubby hamster. Look at him. He's so happy.
Thank you.
Congratulations, sir. Very well deserved.
Thank you. Fuck me. Apes!
She's going to be celebrating or she's in for it. I'm not decided yet.
To be fair, she's been real big supporter of what I've been doing. I've just seen Jack Howard's comment since the start. So yeah, I think she'll feel it a little bit. Joey says, you guys still have manual transmissions over there? Yeah, because we're not lazy and they provide a better driving experience.
Oh, mate.
Like they don't exist in the States.
Mate, being able to go from 6th to 2nd and make it sound like it's about to shit itself is about the funnest thing you can do. So don't worry about it. It's great.
And your automatic cars have like 3 gears. So when you go up a hill, it goes... That's the... David Wilson, hi, John. Absolutely. It says 1K, bro. Thank you.
There you go. It's done. It's done.
I'm not going to hide the excitement because I think it's such a big thing, especially in beer where YouTube does not push you and you have to do all your own shit. Apart from obviously mates like Tom, Chris, John and Paul, like pushing you where they can. Yeah, it's a bit of a grind in beer, I think. Dave was congratulations, Mark, mate. I'm so up for this now. I said to Apes, we're going on holiday tomorrow to the New Forest for a week. And I was like, we'll have a nice night in. And this thing going to be a nice night in. Just going go into the studio, I know. Lord's Brewing Company, thank you, mate. piss off, Matt.
The chimney's coming out.
Oh, there's going to be, yeah, it's always the way. Jack Howard only turn up the occasions.
He knows when to rock up, doesn't he? He knows when to rock up.
Oh, dear. Matt Hall says, Mark's panicking. Now I'm panicking because I'm going to lose my job. Blooming heck. Joey says, congrats on the 1,000, bro. Do a liter of shots.
That's a super chat.
Joey is the only person to send me super chats sent to now. Joey, you're a fucking legend, mate. Thank you.
Mate, I've never had one. And I'm not asking for one, but I'm just saying I never had one, so you're ahead.
I don't want to hide my smile because it's a big thing. John said, Apes, get the Rolls Royce. We're off to dinner. Il Corvo, you need to inform your wife that you've made it. Yeah, I know. This is the thing. Like, it's not. I think people, certain people will have a dig at certain people, and it's like when you get 1,000 on YouTube, as I was saying it now, it's like it means a lot because you work so hard to get there.
It's a lot of hours.
It's not money.
I think and it's different for every person, but I've done a rough estimate. Over that first 1,000, for every hour someone has watched your video, you've probably put in at least an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Oh, absolutely.
So like it's so involved.
For
that first bit. So it's a big step. And post that, it turns around very quickly. You eventually.
Yeah. No, it's just really good. Thank you so much for honestly. If you've subscribed to my channel or watched me, or thank you. And if you haven't, if you don't know who this guy is, this is the Crummy Beard. Literally, how it's spelled. Lovely guy, good beard, and annoyingly good glassware now. Well, generally that glass he's displaying is the only good one he's got.
The Oktoberfest one. No, I got 3 new good ones. I got the Oktoberfest one. I got the Paulaner Weiss beer glass. And I got a Paulaner mini. Well, I wanted to call it a Stein, but it's not a Stein, apparently. It's from what I learned earlier. But yeah, one of those.
Yeah. Well, we got dogs.
You got the dogs?
In the chat. No. Roll here. Up. Come on. No, up. Come on. Oh.
Hey, we've got doggos.
This is the vicious one.
Yeah, it looks it, mate.
Yeah, I know.
That's looking soft right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it's a Brewery. Come here, you. Can I have a cuddle?
Oh, dogs disappeared.
Yes. Say hi.
That was funny because you froze then. So you froze with the dog in your hand and returned with a child without any moving. It was quite impressive.
Wave to Tom. Say hi, Tom. Good girl. That's a Brewery. Oh.
Dog's like, oh, no. You were paying attention to me.
A roller, yeah. But you got to be careful touching her because she will bite your arm off. Yeah,
yeah, I'll be honest, you're not doing a very good job of making her look bad while she's kissing everyone on screen.
Honestly, she's only happy because she's eaten 2 people today.
Look at the vicious beast. We give kisses.
Do you remember Tom? Say hi, Tom. Hi. Tom. She's saying Tom. Say hi, Tom. Where's Tom? Where's Tom? He is here, yeah.
I feel like Mark's distracting from this bottle of Chimay that he needs to open.
Can you say hi to Tom? Hi, Tom.
Hello.
Say Tom. Mummy out. She's done a poo, yeah.
Not mummy, Sophie.
Oh, she's done a poo, and I have to clarify that by saying not mummy, Sophie.
We will wait for clarification.
Oh no, tell me about that. I was at the start here at 1K, long death by, mate. I'll never get there. My liver will be shaking on the floor like a something.
I'm going for my 3rd pee of the night while you open
Tommy,
up
who is this?
I'll be honest, I don't know what happened. Apparently, German beer makes me pee more frequently than any other. That's all I can tell you. It doesn't normally go like this. But
I've not known this guy.
No. It's been an hour. Since the last one, which isn't that bad.
It feels like 5 minutes to me, but I'm a little bit more pissed than you, I think.
Yeah, so it's not that bad.
It's the way it is.
Get that Chimay open. No
God. Rest in peace, my month. Look, John says, hello, David Wilson. David Durrell says, my Mustang has a 10-speed auto box. What? Is that even a thing? I thought they had like 4 gears. Luke John Frost says, I have a few beer steins. Fact, Rick Stein, the chef, his family came from Stein, hence the surname. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people like Michael Schumacher. His family, when they went back, they were like shoemakers. Schumacher. Be interesting. Luke John Frost, you're probably from like, I don't know, Cumbria, where it's really frosty. It literally is like that, though. Congratulations, Captain Car Park. Thank you, mate. Luke John Frost, the first 100 subs seemed a long time ago now. No wonder I've gone crazy. You absolute man. Joey says, bro, the grind just behind running once twice a week so much. It looks easy, but the stuff is not easy. Salute for the creators, brightening lives every freaking day. Yeah, I think I'm not like do it for other people. It sounds brutal, but I love it. Personally, it has I just love it. And then everybody else and everybody getting stuck in. He's fantastic. What have you got?
Show Daddy.
What have you got?
First bleeding knee.
Oh, first bleeding knee. You're going to show Tom? Where's Tom? Oh, you got a bleeding knee? Oh, no. Say hi. Say hi, chat.
Did she cry?
No, Tom's gone. Say hi, chat.
Did she cry?
Chat.
About the knee?
Did she cry about the knee? No, she didn't. She's her daddy's girl, isn't she? What a time. Luke John Frost says, I've unsubbed. Take that in offer to give the dogs 1,000 treats. No, the skinnier ones had 1,000 arms. Absolutely not. I walk the dogs for 1,000 hours. Even the dogs get excited, I know. Johnson got something better than Super Chat. Use promo 30 for 30% off. Oh, God. You absolute grotty man. Luke John Frost is only 30%. Typical Total Auctionman. Honestly. He's the most man I've ever known in my life, John. Shark says Tom needs to fix his seal. I know.
I do indeed.
I know.
All leaky.
Connor Jackson. Hi, lads. How are we doing? I'm really good, mate. Thanks for coming in. Cheers to you, good friend. David DeRoss says, welcome to middle age. I know bladder retention. Ain't that true?
Apparently so. I blame the Germans.
Luke John Frost Luke John Frost says, I think he's caught up with chat. And then Luke John Frost comes up with face green smiling. Baby body green covering eyes.
Interesting emoji.
So, so StreamYard doesn't recognise the new emojis. Joey says, I clicked the magic dog baby swap and sent you to Instagram. It was quite funny. Oh, brilliant.
It was good. It was good.
Who's this?
Old house we tried to make.
That's John. That's John sending you. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Well, there we go. Quite. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Tom, for pushing me.
We'll try. How does it feel? Is it a relief? Is it more pressure?
It's just a goal, isn't it? Especially in beer. I think it's not like you're reviewing toys and YouTube sticks you out to 25 million kids around the world. You're in a really small audience doing something that YouTube doesn't like, because YouTube does look at alcohol as a bit of a vice.
Yeah,
it's just nice, and realistically, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just like it's one of them like personal targets that you kind of have to get over a little bit. But no, I really appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tom. Can I thank MCB?
You can. She's left the room now, so she won't hear you unless she's put it on the phone. But
yeah,
she's gone to cook her dinner because she's bored of waiting for me. But I told her to go just do her thing.
Chat will never end, says Lee. No, it's just nice. And thank you to everybody for watching me. It's not. I'll do it for, like I said before. I'd be lying if I was going to be like I'm broadcasting to all of you. I do it primarily for myself because it's just a hobby. Same way all hobbies are. And the fact that people can share it with me is unreal, absolutely unreal. So, thank you for the bottom of my heart. Joey says, "Now you're in with the big boys. You need a special club jacket." Where's that golden jacket, like all the green jacket? Sharky says, "It's okay. YouTube will unsub 100 tonight." I know that's the biggest thing. I'm gonna go back on and I've got to do it all again. Do I call him Big Channel Mark now? No, you don't, mate. Shut up. Joey says it's hard to comprehend sometimes 1,000 separate people clicked. I like this guy. Yeah, I've never been like seeking of acceptance. I did it because I was like, I love beer. But then you can say what you like. YouTube is all about acceptance. And there was a really good children's film about this. It was a Disney film. It was all about like likes and subscribers. It was a really good film a couple of years ago. And very quickly you slip into, I want people to watch me. You know, anyone that says they release a video and they're like, I don't care how many people watch, they are lying out of their butt. They really, really are. Like, they really, really are. Yeah,
I mean, there's always exceptions, but in general, if you put effort into the thing that you made, you want that thing to do well at some level. You want to be, you want that thing to be appreciated, and that's, yeah. I guess it's due to lack of a better metric, because really, you'd be really happy if 20 people really enjoyed it versus 2,000 people thought it was okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but that metric doesn't exist. You can't see that, and that maybe is the problem. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah. But I've got a smile on my face. Thank you to everybody. That's the thought, Joey. I subbed 4 times, says Luke. Absolute punishment. Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, I didn't want it to be hollow, but I think we've had a really good stream. We had 39 concurrent viewers at one point, which is probably one of my peaks. So nice. It felt right. It felt right. Shug says, will Mark have a special only a special space in the normal car park? Right. If I only had for 45 plus 4 years, I wouldn't be nearly as motivated. It's so true. It's so true. I was saying to the boys in the group chat, like Tom, there's a couple of us in the group chat. I was like, I've just been really unmotivated. I've been so unmotivated for YouTube recently. I think summer's here. I think there's a lot of other interests. I've got a 2-year-old daughter and 2 border collies. Apes is my wife's getting a call from Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Is that a regular occurrence?
Definitely related to Temu. Yeah, that app where you get like a full bedroom house for about £3. But yeah, I don't know. Weird. If you buy a car, you got to put gas in it, says Joey. Yes, true. You don't marry a wife and lock her up in the basement. Well, there's a famous German fella. Austrian, I think. You have kids with a...
Oh dear, yes.
Why have I said that? This is the way to get unsubscribed. We don't put ourselves out there for people to like us. We do it because, well, never mind. It's so true. It is so true. You make a YouTube channel because there's something missing in your life. Generally. And it might be a miss. Well, for me, or this is my view, I started it in October 2021 or November 2021 because I miss that social aspect.
Yeah, everyone does it for a different reason. Everyone's got their. I do it because I really like making videos, and I've got no interest in making videos that only I watch.
Yeah,
it's a weird. Yeah, I don't see the point in making a video that only I ever see. It seems pointless. Yeah,
I used to do that. I was always that holiday video guy, so I would never share my personal channel. Even though you could probably search it, but I think the videos are private. But even like there's trips to America that we watch that were filmed in 2015 that we watch back now, and it's like I love the editing side of being like, working hard to line it up with the music or whatever, and it's really good. Well, I really like it. Luke John Foster says, anyway, back to beer for Frederick Strasser. What have you got planned for Christmas beer wise? Looking forward to Christmas. Oh, I tell you what, Jimmy Rushworth, who Tom met a couple of weeks ago at the Edwardstone White Horse, he has got hold of a brewery advent calendar that is from America, and it's £150.
Okay,
which may sound like a lot.
It does a bit, yeah.
but the Trembling Madness one was over 100 quid
Oh, really? Interesting.
last year. So what? Expect 110, 120.
That's pricey, I think. I feel.
It is, but it was full of like imperial stouts, double IPAs. Like they did not hold back. It was not.
Okay.
You know, it was like a showcase of what they do. So I'm really interested in that American one.
Where is that from?
I'd have to get the link. I'll send it to you. I'll get it after the stream. I'll send it to you. But
So
yeah, I'm kind of interested in that.
Just to answer Luke's question on there on Christmas beers and stuff, I've tried for the last year to broadly plan the videos I'm going to make, and then I probably plan every once a month, and then the first half of that month goes to plan, and then the second half of that month something else comes along that I wasn't expecting, and it takes a dive. According to my most recent plan, I'm meant to be reviewing filming the reviews of Halloween beers in the next 10 days, and not a single one has been released yet, and we're already halfway through September. So
there were so many pumpkin porters last year. I kind of lost count, I think. But
so yeah, I mean, again, I've got generic Christmas beers scheduled in, but I've not seen anything be mentioned yet. And obviously, we've still got Halloween and all that to go. So I guess we probably won't see anything Christmas wise until the end of October at the very earliest, probably halfway through November. So
yeah,
hard to say at this point, mate. Except for two beers that I had every intention of reviewing last year, and they still haven't made review yet. And there were two that Paul from Paul's Beer Reviews gave me. One is a Goose Island. What's it called? Their special one.
Yeah, what's it?
What's it called? The Goose Island
Bourbon.
Yeah, the bourbon barrel aged Goose Island Jobby, whatever it's called. I've got one of those, and I've got a KBS special as well that he gave me, which I still need to review. But they've got best befores of about 2026, so we're not in danger territory yet.
It's because we're about 45%.
Yeah, they are on the plan. But other than that, I can't tell you yet because I don't know what's coming out.
There we go. Joey said, I made a channel because I got sick of driving to open mics and staying up until 1:30 on weeknights. This is crazy easier than compared to normal grind, I know. Luke John, I watch your videos, Crummy, even the YouTube ones.
He's found my OnlyCans account.
It's true. It does exist. Joey says, I like that I can sit in my house and talk to 30 people or drive to an open mic and talk to 10 people. I think that's the biggest thing, isn't it? Like, a lot of the time, if I'm being honest, a lot of the time in the chat, you got sort of categories of comments. You got the guys or the comments where you talk to each other, which is brilliant. You've got the straight out questions like Luke John, like, do you think the craft beer bubbles burst? And then you've got the interaction that spawns questions. So in these comments, you'll see interaction between you guys sort of watching. And then someone will say, what do you think about that? And then they're often the best questions because they're like a bit considered rather than just being like straight up craft beer bubble. But it's so honestly, I love doing the lives. I love speaking to you guys. It's brilliant, and because we can only come up with. I've got a dynamic. Tom's got a dynamic, and there's only one product out of that pairing of dynamic. Whereas if you guys speak to each other, some of the questions are brilliant. Joey says, Sharky, this is a sweet business idea. Get together beer advent calendars and ship them around the globe discreetly. I bet people would pay out the wazoo. Honestly, they genuinely would.
Very, very true.
It would be mental. And just ship them as like toilet tissue so you don't have to pay import tax. No, I'm joking. Chat Bandit, been a minute since I've seen you, mate. Thanks for coming in.
As indeed. How you doing, mate?
One of the OGs. Lewis Marriott, how you doing, mate? I don't recognise the name. When's next City Beer Tour? The Nottingham video was a great watch. Oh, so if I'm honest, summer's been a bit of a drama. My father recovering from strokes, trying to get the business off the ground. Towards the end of the summer, I will do a Norwich beer tour, and I think that will be equally as shocking as the Nottingham one was. What Nottingham one was, because Nottingham shocked me. The quality was mental. The diversity was mental in terms of beer. Flipping heck. Norwich is. I want to do it with Crummy though, because Crummy showed me around his local city. I'd love to do it if Crummy came to Norwich.
We can sort that.
Oh,
we should do that. That'd be good.
Someone in the chat and I've seen llamas.
Where's that come from?
Get out. But yeah, really enjoyed filming the Nottingham one. Yeah. I feel like the next one has to be Norwich, but just to put Crummy on the spot, probably need to have a little look at the diaries, I think.
Absolutely.
Joe, go on, sorry, mate.
I just said absolutely. We need to do it. It'd be good.
Norwich is good. Good. Like, really underrated. Like Nottingham is horrendously underrated for the size of the city. Norwich is a step down in terms of size, but equally it's that much underrated. What are you doing there, Tommy? Is that Spartan?
The Spartan. I'm going to find out how average it may be.
I think I might have done 4 of those today.
Oh dear.
So, excuse me. Joey says my book's going to be called "I'm a Pothead and to Beer Channels." That sounds like a Blink 182 song. Luke John Foss says £150 for 12 is not expensive. Most of my American beers have been £12 plus. Get it with 24 cans and you're laughing. Yes, and all of these cans have been curated and confirmed as 440s minimum. So I think it might be worth it. Sharky comes in Bourbon County Stout. That is absolutely
the one.
Luke John Frost says, I have a stout. Oh, no, that's a right hand click. I have a stout with 2038 on the label. It's 18% though. You know what? You could probably drink that 100 years later. It would still be good.
That's pokey.
Luke John Frost. In other words, good questions from me. A load of waffle from the rest of you.
Maybe.
John's playing absolutely havoc with my basement. Can you see this, Tom?
Well, the comment.
No. John's suggesting things. Kev says, Advent calendars are a great idea. If there was decent beers in them, you may get a couple of good beers and the rest are terrible at best. Yes, and I do think that might be the downfall of a lot of Advent calendars. I think you probably got to trust the distributor that's selling it, not the curator, the distributor. Because the curator is going to curate the beers and sell it to the distributor, and then the distributor will have a final say in terms of what comes out. So I have to say, the last Advent calendar that I had out of Trembling Madness, it was pricey. It was about 120 quid delivered, I think, or maybe 110. 110, I think. But the beers were good. Like it was like Pentrick double IPAs, Amundsen pastry stouts, Imperial, like nutty beers, like mental, like pushing the envelope beers. So I think it's probably worth it. Luke John Frost says, have you seen the escalator challenge that Liam at Travel and Brews put up? You do a pub crawl, you have to increase the ABV on every visit. That is incredible.
That's a no, I quite like that. There's like a difficult element to that to keep it going.
Yeah,
You gotta
I like
try
that.
and go to places where you can go 0.1 up every time to just keep it. Yeah.
But imagine if the first person goes in at like a 4.5% pale ale. You'd be like, you absolute moron. What have you done? Joe says, that's the drama llama. Well, that's true. The drama llama. Lewis Marriott, looking forward to it. Yeah, Crummy helps balance the drunk chat. Lewis sounds like he's been a regular for a year. It's kind of the way it goes.
Apparently, there's someone in the basement, Mark.
No, there isn't, because it's a grey screen to me.
Really?
Oh, right. Whilst John insults me with llama videos, we're going to get through this. Joey says we need to address the parenthood issues and stop child support amongst female llamas. Stop baby mama llama drama. That's what we need on a Friday night. Oh, Blackberry. Drama llama. No. Harry Frost. Happy Friday, boys. That's not a name I recognise in here.
Cheers, Harry.
Cheers to you. I've got a little bit left. How you doing, Harry? Where are you from? Are you from the UK? Or are you from America? We get a little bit from America at the moment, which is quite good. Yeah. Paul Anna Oktoberfest beer. For those that haven't watched, this is live now in your local Aldi for £2 a bottle, and you don't have to buy a box of 10. If you want 3 bottles,
or 20,
sorry,
it's a box of 20 at Majestic.
Yes, but Lidl or Aldi, sorry, Aldi, not Lidl. £2 a bottle. Buy it, pie the bottle. It's all good.
I assume you're avoiding the Chimay then, given you've opened that.
I'm sorry, Tom. Your internet's fuzzy, mate. I've got John in the chat. Hello, mate.
We've just got a dark screen.
John, like every mother-in-law on Christmas Day.
He's blacked out.
Yeah,
He's gone.
It's gone.
Gone.
What we got? David Wilson says Luke Frost wasn't a fan of that so much. Brother hit the nail on the head, drinking beer for the sake of it. Was that the... What was that? That was the... yeah, the escalator challenge. I do understand that. It's probably a bit of a stag doey laddie thing, isn't it? Luke John Frost says, yeah, but it's not a normal...
It's not a normal... yeah, go and find some good beer thing, is it? Let's be honest.
No. It's I do get it, though. It's horses for courses. I think there's a place for it. Joe says, United States of Great Britain, Northern Ireland. Luke John says, please don't say American. Joey's enough for anyone. John, are you good? I feel like you're freezing a lot. Oh, no.
I'm not. I'm here. Can you hear me?
I feel like you've just robbed the motor.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, you big sausage? Yeah.
In and out, mate, but yeah.
So I was actually with some alpacas then. They were all they're the extra guys that got you over the line to 1,000.
I'll pack up my bags.
No. I was literally. I'm at an alpaca. Funnily enough, Lydia's gone to a party, and on the party venue is a farm, and on the farm there were some alpacas.
Lovely.
So I thought, what better than to put alpacas on the live stream? But the signal's terrible. So
that is the most John thing I think I've ever heard in my life.
He's reached a new height. It's good.
Did you actually see him?
No.
No.
Do you want me to go back?
No. Right. We're going to get some comments. David says, Luke John meeting Liam tomorrow at London Brewers Alliance. That's more my idea of a good day out. Liam does have good knowledge of pubs and their beers. Yeah, fair play. Harry Frost. Cheers, boys. I'm from London. Harry, cheers to you, good friend. Thank you for coming in, mate. New viewer. We love to see it around here.
Well done on 1,000. I better go because I'm driving.
No worries, dude. Bye.
Love Womble.
Oh, we love John. Love John. Joey says Liam is a travelling fool. Nice guy. Yeah, is he called Travelling Brews? Yeah. Luke says enjoy Miss Wilson. Liam is a good lad. As you say, his knowledge is great. Liam is okay when you get him passes. Joey says, look like John is on a low-grade Yorkshire cash cab show. Drop the show and you probably hit the nail on the head, Joey, to be fair. Take to the docks, please, for right. Joe, you all pissed at me. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning with you where you are. Paul says, just been to Aldi and bought something German, special, and will taste so good in my mouth. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is it a schnitzel or is it the Munich Hellish? It's probably the Paul at Oktoberfest.
Probably.
Mental money. Mental beer for £1.99, by the way. We haven't emphasised this fact enough. Mental. Paul says, lads, thoughts on Brewdog's Oktoberfest beer? How much damage will that have on Brewdog?
We talked about this earlier. It will have no negative on Brewdog because the people that still buy it think it's good.
Right, I'm going for a wee. I'm going to charge up my thoughts on this and come back with a lot of thoughts.
Just putting me on the spot now just to rant about this for a minute. So I was intrigued when I saw it come out because I thought was pretty confident that despite having left the EU, we still weren't allowed to take on names that had their special EU kind of place of origin status, which Oktoberfest does. And, well, my research suggested that that was right, and we couldn't do that with anything that was of that designation prior to his leaving. So damage-wise, I don't think anything, but I don't know. Brewdog seem to just bypass any problems and people still keep buying it because they think it's good. That's the best I can really come up with.
I personally think, and this goes way back in Brewdog's thing. This is my opinion. This isn't fact, by the way. So if Brewdog want to come in here and sue me, this isn't credible. My opinion is, I think Brewdog made a beer cult. It was a cult early. You bought in with you could buy into their AGMs for like 20 quid or whatever the punky thing was. And it was clever. It was absolutely clever. And that's why these guys are worth hundreds of millions of pounds now. But my opinion is they created a beer cult and it was like a sub cult. It was a cult of people that followed the brand no matter what they did, which is kind of like definition of a cult. I think they bought in on a base level, and I think Brewdog have milked the absolute hind off of that cow for 5 or 6 years. And to do that, you have to be masters of guerrilla marketing. They are the masters of marketing. If you want a marketing department to market your business, you market the Brewdog guys. They are good. And I'll give, money makes the world go round. Honesty, money sometimes doesn't. I'm trying to say this in the nicest way possible. I think they had an objective and I think they're executing it perfectly, but it is because of the culty base that they built their business upon. That's my opinion.
Well, it was quite clever in the fact that whilst there was no belief that they might be doing anything that others might not agree with, you got a load of people financially invested in their well-being.
Yeah.
So a lot. I mean, we'll cover this with my opinion is
Yeah.
that a lot of the people that bought into that equity for punks scheme, had they seen where it would go years after they bought in, would have been negative about it had they not had a financial interest in it doing well.
Yes.
And also, again, covering arses, my opinion is that Brewdog is a very effective marketing company that happens to make money through the sale of beer, not a brewery that has very good marketing.
Yes, I agree.
But
They have a bit, yeah, and it goes back to there's companies all over our market, like DFS. I heard, and this could be wrong, and you can shoot me down if you want. DFS stood for Direct Financial Services, which is why they always want to put you. So if you go into the DFS sale never ends. The first thing you see is this sofa will cost you £16 a month for the next 6-7 years. DFS stood for, in my opinion, or what I heard, it'd be interesting to hear the real story, Direct Financial Services. So they were selling a financial service based on sofas.
Yeah. Same thing.
Don't know how true that is. Did you hear the same, Tom? I don't know.
No, I hadn't heard that, but I can believe it.
It's kind of the same. It's very different ways of doing the same thing.
Can you just jump to the most recent comment because I find it fascinating?
And
then we'll go back and do the rest of them.
That one.
That's it. It says the Captain Meat says, "Tom, this is beer tube. You're not allowed to have an opinion."
Oh.
It's true. You're not allowed to have an opinion unless it falls in line with everyone else's opinion. Then it's absolutely not right, which is a bit of a bizarre concept, really, because if everyone had the same opinion, then there'd be no point in anyone making any videos ever, would there?
Hi, darling. Pepper. Oh, come on then. Come and show Tom. Honestly, she's coming here. We're in the terrible twos where if I ask her to do anything, it's the worst thing in the world. She wants to show. Come on and show Tom then. Show Tom Pepper. Tom Pepper.
That is a very nice pepper.
Say hi, Tom. Can you wave? Oh, good girl. Oh, bless her heart.
Wearing her sunglasses at the pub.
She's wearing her sunglasses at the pub,
She was
yeah.
going, "Hey, put the light on."
Mummy, put the light on.
It's a good pig.
It's from a daddy pig.
A daddy pig. Bam, bada, bam, bam, bada, bada, bam, bam. Oh, bless her heart. Right, off you go.
Right, scroll back through the comments before we get sidetracked.
Sorry, guys. She is just the best.
I feel like we should put an end time on this stream before it just turns into mumbling chaos. I mean, it's already there, but
I was going to say, mate, half an hour ago. Yeah, we're way past that. What was the last comment?
Good question. I want to say about 10 back.
Is it this stuff?
Hold on.
We're going to go from there, boys. So Sam Small, it says Prost, boys. With an Oktoberfest beer, Prost. Quite good. Joey says, isn't low-grade Yorkshire stuff kind of redundant? It's quite prominent in beer at the moment. Tom? She's asking to see you, Tom.
Okay. I don't know what I did to become so popular.
Where's Tom? No,
Wave again.
So where's Tom? Say hi, Tom. Oh God, we've dropped Daddy Pig's on the floor.
Going, Tom.
Tom. Where's Tom?
Yeah.
He's here. Yeah.
That's a
It's a laptop.
pattern.
Pardon?
Pattern.
Can you show Tom Daddy Pig? There you go.
Oh, that's a pig with some very nice speedos on.
Can you show Tom Mummy Pig? Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay, that's a pig
Can
with
you
some
wave,
beach
Tom?
speedos on.
Can you wave? Oh, bless her little heart. You're the best. Right, go and see Mummy then, because Mummy's got something really exciting.
The facial expression that said "that is a lie" was fantastic.
There we go. Hey up, Sammy Boy says Luke. Paul says just got Paul on her. Well, it's half your name. You should have it. Down the back alley, Joey. How's the whole country? Sam Smalley, howdy, Luke J. Miss you, buddy, says Sam. Luke John Frost says you have to come back and find out, Joey. Oh no. Are we going there? It's this kind of thing. David says, all right, Sam. Luke John Frost says, Sam, on Sharky's tomorrow night, if you're about. So, Shark, is he called Shark Homebrewing still? Or has he got a different channel name?
I've forgotten now.
But yes, no, I'll tell you what, it's this guy. Shark Brewing and Adventures. If you want a lot more Oktoberfest chat, go on his stream tomorrow if you're in the UK from 8 p.m. Luke John Frost says just sit back, relax, and ponder. Absolutely. That's what we need to do with these beers. Paul says it's almost like you guys can go to Aldi and buy 10 amazing beers for 20 quid. Or Lidl and buy stuff. Should we address this, Tommy?
No.
Could be good.
You can do if you want. I mean, I've got a video is going to be released soon addressing. Well, I've not even. I'll be honest. I've not even worked out whether I was correct or not in my assumption yet, despite having tried all the beers. But
let's do around this for the people that are watching.
Mike, you're breaking up. You're gonna have to start that again.
Ah, poo. How's this?
Yeah, you're good now.
Right. So for the people that are watching and they're faced with Aldi doing what they're doing and Lidl do what they're doing, if you could advise people to walk into a certain shop based on your own opinions, what would it be? And why?
I'd tell you to walk into Aldi and buy, if you want to spend 25 quid, I'd advise you to walk into Aldi and buy about 18 quid's worth of Paul Arner and 7 quid's worth of this Erdinger Weiss beer.
My opinion, yes, I'm with you. I think you've probably got to divide your money between. I think the Spartan Münchner Helles is tasting better than it was last year.
I'm drinking it right now. It's fine, but it's not as good as the other two.
No, it's not. But the Erdinger Oktoberfest beer, or the Oktoberfest Weiss, or the October Weiss, whatever they call it now, is very, very good.
Erdinger Oktoberfest. That's actually all it's called.
Oh,
Erdinger
there we go.
Oktoberfest.
It's like a Fest Weiss. I can't say, and this is the important bit, in terms of value and quality, you're not going to get better than what Aldi's offering now. So if you want to spend 25 quid in Lidl to buy that box, or spend 25 quid in Aldi and choose between the Paul and the Spartan and the Erdinger, it's Aldi all day. Like it's not even close. You're not taking risks, and it's just blooming good beer for the money.
Yeah, you're spot on. I mean, what did I spend? I'm trying to work out how many I bought yesterday. I think I spent sub 12 quid in Aldi yesterday on 6 beers.
Yeah.
No, it was more than that.
No, it would have been.
No, it was. It was because I'd already bought a load of the Paulana. So I bought 6 beers. Yeah, it was. I didn't buy any of the Paulana because I'd already bought a 20-pack from Beers Europe at £2 a pop. So I would have spent more had I not done that. But you could definitely get more beers of high quality for half the money.
Yep. Half the money. Not half the money.
Hold on. No, not half. Not more. But sorry. Rephrase. You would have a better time with the beers you got for half the money from Aldi.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
And what you're saying is a lot of the beers. I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but am I right in saying what I think you're saying is a lot of the beers that are in the little box were maybe not quite up to standard, whereas you can guarantee a certain level out of the Aldi beers?
The little box was very good compared to
it was good.
What you can get in Tesco, Morrison's, Sainsbury's, whatever.
Tesco's and Morrison's don't. No one does it.
No, exactly. Like they are. If that's the only place you shop and you go to Lidl for that and that only, then it wasn't a bad shout. But if your intention is high quality beer at a cheap price, Aldi have killed it.
Yeah. Even the big blot on the copybook for me last year was this Spartan Munich Hells. And I'm not going to stand here and say it's a totally different beer. It'll be the same recipe as what it was last year.
Yeah.
But with lager, I'm not going to say this is the reason I think it's better, but certainly with lager from a beer drinking perspective is there's so much more to go wrong. So atmospheric conditions, quality of equipment, if it's been developed over the second year over the first. There's a lot to go wrong with lager, but the Spartan this year is tasting so much better than the last year.
I'm not sure.
It is.
I think it's better than last year. I'm not sure it's worth buying lots of. I would buy 1 or 2 and then put the rest of your money in that Paulana because that's so good.
No, yeah, it's true. It's true what you say, because when the Paulana's the same price, they're incomparable at the same price. But the reality is, the Spartan's going to be sitting in there till November, and the Paulana's sold out before October, really, because we've got another 15 days to go.
True.
I think we've been spoiled, and this is a massive thing. I think we've been spoiled. I think we are really drilling down as beer reviewers into this. But I would say get to your Aldi, not your Lidl. Because I think it's more consistent and it's just better quality. Luke John says no one goes until the Schmay gets it. I'll tell you what, that's going to be a whole other stream, and I'm going to do it in Nottingham with Tom, and he's going to do the Schmay with me because he's partly responsible for what's going on here. So, David says, "Bye, we'll catch you another day." David, I had a lovely time at the London Brewers Alliance, mate. What a guy. Sharky says, "Take care, David Wilson." Paul sums it up perfectly. Mumbling chaos is what we flock here for. Well, yeah, I appreciate it. Luke John Foss says, "Take care, Mr. Wilson. Enjoy." Joey, bro, Peppa Pig. That take me back. My boy loved it. Yeah, I know. Mate, it's kicking on here. Larry Hampkin from Breaking Bad will be bad on the show. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. So, Square Tables Generous is a podcast. If you don't follow it on YouTube, please do. They've got Larry Hampkin from Breaking Bad on the show from September the 25th. Sharky's put in a link for tomorrow's Sharktoberfest, which is Sharky he's going to be drinking his own Oktoberfest beer that he's brewed. Luke John Frost says, "Don't take it personal, Tom. You're 3.8 thousand people with a different point of view." That's the thing, isn't it? And that's maybe a fault of ours that we're talking almost like objectively that somewhere's better than somewhere else, but it is subjective, and it depends what
It's
you want
fine.
out of stuff. Joey says, as Craig, if he's still around, and Kev would again, there are like craft beer shops in every single corner. Il Corvo, hello mate. He says, is the Erdinger good this year? People sleep on it because it's their base Weiss beer is D tier. I'm with you. Their base Weiss beer is crap. I think their Weiss is good as well. I'd be really interested because we only really get given. I think their Dunkel lager is really good. Like I will happily, if I go in a place and they haven't got the Weiss beer on the shelf, I'd have a couple of Dunkels from Erdinger all day. Tom,
I mean, I've had one, which was on the stream. I had a couple before it, so it's not a absolute review because it was impacted by what I drank before, but I would happily go and buy another 6 or 8 of them based on what I drank, what I tasted tonight. So yeah, I think it's worth a go. It's not the best Weiss beer in the world. At the same time, it's probably the best Weiss beer in the world for £2 a shot. So yeah, it's good. It is good.
are you saying at that point it's better than the Franciscana?
In my mind, the Franciscana normally is £2.50.
Yeah. We've just got this weird like marketing thing now where Franciscana's £2 a bottle. It's weird.
So it's not as developed or as intense as the Franciscana, but it's an easier drink. It's an easier drink, but also way better than the Erdinger regular by a long way. So,
night and day.
I think it's worth a go.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Sharky says, I wish we had more craft beer shops here. You literally live in the heart of craft beer hops. So I genuinely struggled to understand that comment. Paul says it's like Aldi a Klopp and Lidl a Gareth. It's true. No, I understand that and I like it. Lujo Foss says for £20, get 4 bottles of Paulana and a greasy kebab from the local takeaway. Don't forget the chili sauce.
That's a good. That's a better way to spend your money right there. That's great.
It's true. It's true because 4 bottles of Paulana will see you home pretty well. Who wins? 150 pit bulls or a fully grown adult white rhino? Swarm effect, mate. Pit bulls. We'll do them.
I'm not convinced.
Swarm effect.
I'm not convinced. that rhino's got so much torque.
Yeah, that's true. Luke John Foss says white rhino roll, baby, roll.
Just the crush factor is massive. Yeah,
no. It's true. Il Corvo says inconvenient to me. I live 2 minutes away from a Lidl and nowhere near an Aldi. Oh well, I'll just buy Paulana from Majestic Blow always. To be fair,
it's 1p more a bottle. It's 20p more than it for an entire case.
If you,
I bought it from Majestic. I bought a case from Majestic because I didn't want to risk. Like last year, when I went into Aldi and they had the Paulana, they had 10 bottles left, and I bought 8 of them.
It's worth saying this: the inconsistencies in these German supermarkets can't be ignored. So we've got people getting the Oktoberfest beers. It was the Spartan, even though it's not really a fest beer. It was a Spartan, the Erdinger, the Paulana. People were getting them on Thursday. I went in my local Aldi, and they were saying, "Oh, all those beers are in the Sunday cage." Tom went to his Aldi this morning, local Aldi. They didn't have it
yesterday.
Or yesterday.
It was yesterday afternoon. I went to the closest one to me, which is a mile away. And not only did they not have it, someone had to go and research what it was I was talking about and asking for. And they said, "Oh no, we've not got it yet." I said, "Can you tell me when you're going to have it?" It's like, "Oh, we're not sure if we're getting any." I was like, "Okay, that's awkward." And then he went home and I thought, you know what? Every closest supermarket to me seems to be really lax on the beer front. I thought I'm just going to search the next closest one and try my luck. it was 4 miles away from that one, back past my house. So not even that far, 3 miles away from my house rather than one. Went to that one. Not only did they have them all, they were all in a basket right at the front of the store. And there was probably 4 crates of each just sat there waiting to be gone at. It's like, hold on. Surely that's the same delivery truck going to both of those stores. They're so close. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's weird. I would, to be honest, the Spartan Münchner Helles is tasting absolutely banging tonight.
I'm drinking it right now. It is. I think it has an issue in that it's constantly compared to Oktoberfest beers because the only time we get it in the UK is whilst everything else comes out. If you gave me this in June, I'd be like, right, where do I buy a case?
It's so true, isn't it? It's so
And
true.
that's it. It's not a patch on the Paulana, but at the same time, it's very good.
Well, I agree. Luke John Frost says, I'm going to head out, wind some other folk up for a bit. Luke, thanks for coming in, mate. Good to hear you doing well. Message me on Instagram. I want to have a chat with you. Make sure you're okay. Sharky says, see you soon, Luke John. Paul says, the big supermarkets, Ailta, for too busy selling us trifle infused IPAs. It's so true. Yeah, it's mental. Luke says, bye to Sharky. Joey says, Aldi in the States is like the super discount market. Yeah.
How's that?
It's what it's like over here. If you want the cheapest can of beans you can lay your hands on, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
But
occasionally they're bringing something interesting.
Yeah. And geographically, the view is they just anything weird they get it from Germany. It's like 30 miles, not 4,000. Big Kev, when my thing loads. He says, all these Oktoberfest vids recently, I thought it was September. It starts on the, weirdly, it's the most random date pattern.
Tomorrow.
It starts on the second to last Saturday in September.
So it's meant to be 2 weeks and ends on the first weekend of October. It's more like a countdown to October than it is an event in October, which makes no sense, but it is what it is.
Right then, guys, we are approaching 8 o'clock. I've got a camper van to pack in about 3 hours.
Have fun.
Tommy, you're an absolute legend. If you don't know this guy right here, this is the Crummy Beard. Doing videos like mine, but much higher quality and much more considered, with a much more considered approach. Tom, thanks for coming in, mate. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, sir. Thank you very much. It's been a fantastic evening.
It's been good. We've been going for what, nearly 3.5 hours. Quite good for a 2-hour stream, really. Guys, you're the best. Thank you so much for coming in. If you need these beers, if you're in late, go to Aldi and Lidl, buy the box, buy the Paulana, buy the Spartan. Get your hands on these beers because they genuinely are.
And the Erdinger, because it's very good.
And the Erdinger, it's worth saying. They genuinely are very, very, very good. Big Kev says, I've just tuned in. I'm sad. I'm sorry, mate. Yeah. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. End stream, but it's not